Seejeanty, back at it again. Haiti Business News. It is 23rd of Sunday. And I was speaking to you in the middle of a tropical storm. Tropical Storm Laura is raging outside as we're talking. Listen, I'm half wet and I actually walked to the space in my office here that I do it. Half wet. Look at the bottom half of me is soaking wet. That's not going to stop Haiti Business News. We got to get up here. We got to talk, right? And so welcome, folks. A little earlier than usual. We're at 8 a.m. The show's right now, 8 a.m. And the folks who are coming in, I appreciate you. And those who are watching at the usual time, great. I think it's a little better to do it earlier than doing it later, because those who are used to watching at 11 a.m. can still watch at 11 a.m. because, these are recorded and saved, right? And so welcome those who are coming in, those who are watching it. After the fact, we try to keep our schedule. Just we got some stuff going on in real life here that had to make me move it and adjust it, right? But anyhow, before I get too deep into it, you know what we usually do. We let the intro play for a little bit. It's one-man crew here, so I got some stuff I got to do in the background to get this show up and running. So we'll be back up and going in 5 minutes. Those who are watching it after the fact, you probably can skip ahead. Just skip ahead about 5 minutes, and you'll see this beautiful mug here once again, talking, chatting to you, and giving you what you came here for, right? So again, give us 5 minutes. We'll be right back. Actually, I thought let me come back actually, because I think there's something wrong with the audio. I'm not hearing it. I'm not sure I was hearing the audio as it was playing. So let me go ahead and do something real quick and actually pause it. I don't think I was hearing the radio, the music. So let's do something here. Let's try to readjust the settings here, right? Because I'm gonna be away for 5 minutes. I can't have it set up. Hold on. So, okay, here we go for real. It was a real intermission. We'll be right back. At the macroeconomic level of Haiti. And so this is what this program is here to do. And we're back on the air. What is up, folks? Good to see you guys. Sorry for the intermission. We had to set some stuff up in the background here. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming actually on Twitter, Periscope. We're doing that now, right? And then we also have IG going over here to my right. For those who are coming into IG, just remember, you guys, 1 hour, and then after an hour, that's over. You have to come to one of the social media places that actually know what streaming means. Streaming doesn't mean you have to reset your stream every hour. That's ridiculous. What are we in broadband days? But anyways, listen, welcome, folks. I want to welcome everyone coming in, joining me this very early AM. I know, for a lot of us, waking up Sunday 11 a.m. Who does that? I usually do. I'll tell you that. But I had stuff I had to take care of today, and so we're here a little early. But it's a little better to do it earlier than later, right? Because you do it later, the folks who are used to watching it at the time they're used to watching it, they can still watch it. I think this is probably the best playbook right here. And I'll probably stick this playbook when I have stuff going on. I'll try to do it earlier rather than doing it later, right? Out of courtesy to the folks who do make it a point to try to catch it and watch it, what I mean? So listen, welcome, Haiti Biz News. You know what it is. You heard the intro. It's a show where we talk about Haiti from a business perspective, from an economic perspective, from a debt threat perspective. We're not here for the political nonsense. I'm not here for any particular party. I'm not here to spread propaganda or deny propaganda. I'm just here looking at the facts. What does the facts say? FACT, that's what the facts say, right? First and foremost. And of course, we do it in English because, listen, c'est pas qu'il m'a parlé de là, toujours les ba un petit bail parce que la on nèg qui a venu dans inétant dans 45 minutes qui a dit ça assez là. Est-ce que par rapport à un bail qui haïtien et yo la fréquencité pas de droit parler rien sur topic Haïti si c'est pas en créole. Mais ouais, mon cher, on comprend, il y a l'autre race qui est intéressée dans Haïti. Haïti va changer. Le moment que Haïti change, c'est le moment que l'autre monde intéressé dans nous. Et en plus, il faut comprendre que langue de business, langue des affaires, c'est qui langue? C'est pas français lié. C'est pas espagnol lié, non? Sûrement, c'est pas créole lié tout. C'est anglais lié. So, on fait une mission en anglais pour nous entrer l'autre monde, pour l'autre monde qui a pays à couture. Et en plus, pour retirer des informations dans la tête moun sur Haïti, pays diable, pays mal informé, moun sans éduqué by ça yo. Pour comprendre que Haïti c'est un pays comme tout l'autre pays, il y a des problèmes mais il y a une analyse qui a fait là dans le sens qui a avancé nous. Est-ce que vous comprenez? So c'est là nous faisons en anglais pour l'autre moun yo, pour comprendre le pays. Et en plus tout comme de là-bas, nous sommes des moun tout qui était un cas et on a toujours cherché des informations sur le pays, en langage qui me décale comprendre. On a préféré, actually, on a toujours comprendre, préféré. Est-ce que vous comprenez? So, c'est là, on va avoir besoin de fréquencité, actually, on a plus de respect pour la langue, que c'est une langue qui connecte nous tous. Je ne sais pas qui m'a de respect pour lui, mais à quoi, émission, ça, c'est pour moun qui ont préférence pour l'anglais, pour comprendre le pays à tout, parce que c'est pas seul nous-mêmes, parce qu'il y a tout pas oublié. Ou avez pile côté occasion d'information dans créole, ou les radio métropole, ou bien je peux tailler la caille, ou bien Johnson pour Lyon, ou l'autre Guy Wewe, ou bien tout le monde ça yo. Pour que ton petit coin pour l'autre langage pour moun ka engager pays dans genre faut nous pas chiche dans des informations nous et langage nous et coutume. Okay, so that was a very long disclaimer for all the people who get furious that I dare put Haiti and don't do Creole. So that's a little disclaimer. That's a little disclaimer for folks. I'm still going to have somebody come in about 45, 50 minutes and be like, yo, what's this? How dare you do Creole in Haiti? But again, a little disclaimer, let folks know it's not that I have anything against Creole. I just want people who perhaps don't speak Creole to also understand what's going on. Because if we leave it to CNN, right? If we leave it to Fox News, right? This country's just a bunch of voodoo cannibals who have, who kill each other. You know what I mean? Right? So that's all this is, man. That's all this is. So relax. Okay. And and again, if you don't like what I'm doing here, do it yourself and do it in Creole. Okay. I have no monopoly on lives and I have no monopoly on news. I mean, y'all can just do it and do it in Creole, y'all, at the end of the day. that pissed off. But anyways, so that's the disclaimers aside. I want to welcome folks who are coming in. I read everything on air, so I do welcome folks to drop what's up and hello in the chat. I want to say what's up to Certified T. Good morning. Philly Dom in the house. Philly Dom, what is up, my brother? Absolutely great to have Philly Dom in the house. Collab coming soon. Those who are fans of Philly Dom, those who are fans of me, make sure you subscribe to both of us because there's some really cool stuff on the horizon, on the very near horizon, in fact. So Philly Dom, good to have you in the channel, bro. And of course, if you don't know who Philly Dom is, he's a guy who's, I call him the Casey Neistat, of Haitian YouTube, blazing the pathway for this genre of sharing information to the world, right? And so he's someone who really travels the world, but also makes a point to always swing by Haiti and show real Haiti on the streets, on a very raw, personal level. So make sure y'all know who Philly Dom is. Make sure go give him a follow. Philly, just like the city Philly, and then the word Dom. But again, what am I saying? You guys are already following Philly. I mean, that's a given. Certified T's, yes sir. Yes, it's telling me to stay safe. Outside my window right now is a tropical storm. Tropical storm is ablazing right now. My goodness, it's I made the mistake of actually, not the mistake, but just to get here to my office, half of my body is wet. Like half of my body is wet. You hear me? So it is serious out there right now. We're talking to you in the middle of Tropical Storm Laura, right? And even a little bit of rain causes a lot of trouble. Like just a regular little rainfall that lasts like 10 minutes causes a little bit of rainfall. I cannot imagine what's going on right now. I can't imagine the amount of folks who are en misère right now. C'est dégueulasse là-bas. The whole country shut down. Port-au-Prince is shut down. I'll tell you that right now. Ain't nothing going on in the city right now. I promise you. I'm kind of glad it happened on a Sunday because, but anyways, we're going to talk about Tropical Storm Laura. I'm about to get into the news story right now, but about to get into it. Let's see. We got Jacques Dorse. Why was Dimitri Vorb arrested? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. We got Soviet Julien watching from Jupiter, Florida in the house. What's up, man? Happy to have you. Make sure you subscribe to you, George. First time I'm seeing you in the chat. Hope to see you again. All right. We got Edwin William, the regular Edwin William. What is up, my brother? How you doing, man? Hope you're staying dry and safe out there wherever you're at. Right. We got Daniel Dodar. What is up, my brother? What is up? I hit him with the Creole. That's right. Good to have you early this morning. What is up? Right. Happy to have you. And I see someone else, maybe a Jacques Dorse. If I didn't say what's up, what is up, man? Thank you for coming in and make sure you're subscribed. It's the first time I'm seeing you. So what we got going on? Seejeanty on location. We went to we walked around the city a little bit. There's a series I like to do, which is called the Walking in Haiti series. I used to be driving in Haiti, which I still do. But then there's the Walking in Haiti series where I just walk around different pathways, arteryways in the city. And one place in particular I did just recently was Woodfouet. Anyone knows Haiti, it's a very important arteryway. And walked from 15 October all the way to Petroleum Cemetery. Took me about an hour. Hard work, I promise you. That jump was hard work. Definitely a workout. But I think folks got to see and listen. A lot of folks think I paint a rosy picture of the country. I'm naive about it. Listen, I wasn't hiding nothing. In that video, you see the good. You see people walking around hustling and bustling, doing what they need to do. Nobody's, there's no punch fights in the streets. You know what I mean? They're just people living, hustling. Economy's happening. People selling, making money. Economy at work, right? But on the flip side too, you saw the trash. Right? You can't deny that. Can't hide that. Right? The trash in the streets, in particular as you move up, because the marchés, which is the open markets, produce a lot of trash, as you can imagine. Just folks are just, they're cutting stuff. They're just, and the problem is the infrastructure is the mayor and any functioning should have like a big trash bin somewhere, and so allow folks to, and Haitians are clean people, believe it or not, right? If there were trash bins in places, Haitians would put the trash in those trash bins, and then so long the trash bins got picked up. But that's not put in place. So they pile them in one particular spot. What happens is in the evenings, very late at night, in the mornings, you have, that's when it gets picked up early in the morning, like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. You see these massive baccalaureates come in and they'll pick up the trash, put them in these trucks, and then in the mornings they're more or less clean, but then very quickly they'll get picked up. And a lot of times they can go 2-3 days, doesn't get picked up, and it really piles up real high. And so that's all causes some of the negative scenery that you see as you watch that video, right? But nonetheless, you know, it is what it is. The most important part of that is whatever. It's a level 4 advisory here apparently. You know, they do not visit. You'll be eradicated from the planet as soon as you step off the airplane. That's what they say. That's what they try to paint Haiti as. I'm walking easy in the streets, no problem. Big old GoPro on my chest. Hey, believe what you want about Haiti, right? Believe what you want. You know, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, enjoying the fruits of my ancestors' struggles to free ourselves. You know, y'all do what y'all want. But anyways, so check out that video, and of course the St. Louis Canal video, which we did before. Oh my goodness. Listen, I salute every single one of you guys. Every single one of you guys who donated. We're at $3,100. Just the last week when I talked about it, last week when I brought it up, you guys stepped the hell up, man. Holy crap. I mean, you guys stepped up that same day. I mean, we jumped $450 that same day, right? I was like, the guys, don't donate to me like you usually do. You know, hit this initiative and help these guys out, you know, see what they can do. You guys can do to help this initiative out. And you guys literally stepped up. I honestly, low key, like I was like, you know, because the big goal is 30,000, right? But I was like, listen, if we can get 10% of that, if we can get 3,000, right? I was like, yo, I'd be more than proud of my audience, of what we're doing here, of the mission. And really, and that goes to show you, really, I don't care about quantity, right? I got 55 people watching me concurrently right now. Great. It could be 1,000, wouldn't care. It could be 10, wouldn't care, right? What I care about is how many folks can I connect with who are about hate, about that action, boss. Like Marshall Lynch said, who's about that action, right? Who's about that? Who's not about that keyboard chit chat, right? Who's not about philosophizing, right? You know, who's about that action, right? Who's about when you're asked to step up, support Haitian business, and in ways that matter, right? Support Haitian business, support infrastructure projects, support folks who are doing real work in the country, right? When you're asked to do it, do you do it? And my audience did it. My audience did it. They stepped up. We're at 3,000. And I said, I didn't tell them I might believe that we would get to 3,000. I was like, you know what, guys, listen, if we get to 2,500, I'll do a follow-up video. Like 2,500 is an important number because at 2,500, you get you can get a cement truck, actually, cement. And so actually, I stand corrected. We went a lot further, actually, because I think we're at 2,100 or something like that. So we raised basically 1,000 within a week, additional 1,000 within a week, which is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible, right? And again, that's on you guys. Hats off against that. I can't stop saying what, you know, giving you guys praise for what you've done. And I've updated you guys, by the way. If you go to my Instagram, you will see, right? Updates of the project, right? You'll see they're going to work. Your money is being put to work, right? They're already put up a very important piece of the canal with the money that you gave. So again, hats off. You guys are the real MVPs. You guys are why I do what I do, right? Because I'm not wasting my time. I'm legitimately connecting with people who see Haiti in a different way, who believe Haiti can change, and aren't just about the chit chat. They're about doing what they can in different ways that they are possible to make it happen. So again, it's still, the GoFundMe is still out there. It's still, so if you're still inclined, you know, you haven't donated yet, go ahead, you know, $10, $20, $25, $100, whatever you want to give, whatever you can afford, give it. You know, those who donated already, donate again. Because hey, they're doing real work with that project, right? So, you know, it's there, right? And again, for those who've done and stepped up, you guys genuinely, truly are real MVPs. And of course, you know, a big thing of what we do here here on the channel, right, is let me update my little scroll here. Actually, we hit update that. Usually update that before the cast. And all right. And we'll go ahead, and I want to type this here. Boom. All right, bam. Boom. So there we go. So right underneath. There you go. For those who are interested, you know, some direct donations to what we're doing here. Add to the war chest, you know, what you can always do, you know, because we use those funds as well. Adding to the war chest of Seejeanty, we're able to produce incredible content. We're able to go out. You know, there's a team here, a crew here that does things. And when we go out on deal, I got to pay hotels, I got to pay food for the guys. And so a big part of your funds go to those activities, right? And of course, equipment, different stuff. The reason why I'm coming crystal clear with you guys now is you got this brand new Logitech C, what is it? C something, some very expensive version of the webcam. And that was because of the funds you guys provide, right? So thanks in advance on that. But again, I'm not even asking you guys to give. I just put it out there for those, because folks have contacted me and said, hey, I want to contribute directly to what's going on here, man. I love what you're doing. You know, here's a couple bucks, keep it going, right? Because they know the world is run on green papers, right? But you can do something equally as important, and you can see it down there. Share the live. Partage live la. Partage, right? Partage live la, right? You know, share it. Share it on your social media. Share it on your personal page, right? In fact, let me do this. Let me add a little something to it, right? Let me add a little something to it. I'm gonna put partage live la. Boom, 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 boom. There we go, just like that. Show it. You know, again, parce que du mal créole, que dem la gon ti créole na ticker tape la, right? Right? And of course, leave a comment. They're going to be read on air. So leave a comment. It's a conversation we're having here. It's a conversation. So leave a comment, right? And so really quick, let me just say what's up to folks before I get going. Read the headlines. Sammy Lammy, what is up, bro? Good morning. You got Shimon Jerzon. First time I'm seeing you. Hope you're subscribed. We're here usually 11 a.m. So hope to see you again. Caribbean Island Life. Here in the chat. First time I'm seeing you. Happy to have you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification. Hope to see you again in the chat. Right? You got Live Life L'Amour. Good morning. It's telling me to stay safe. Right? Thank you. Good work. Good news. Appreciate that. First time I'm seeing you. Man, my first time I'm seeing you. If it is, hit that like, hit that live. Sorry, hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. Do all that. And I appreciate the having you. Jonathan Lamo, good to have you again, bro. Hello. And of course, what's up to a lot of different folks in IG land. We got Vanya in here. Remember, guys, if you're watching on IG, there's an hour cap on IG. So after an hour, you're gonna have to come to a real social media platform that doesn't do an hour cap. Okay, and that's Facebook, you know, YouTube, Seejeanty. That's the ones right there. Okay, it's Seejeanty, just like the IG page. Okay. All right. So what are the headlines today? Headlines. Lots to talk about today. Headlines. First and foremost, we got Tropical Storm Laura happening right here in my window. Look at that. If I could take my webcam, I should show you what's going on, but it's a little sort of complicated to take my webcam out, but it's happening right now outside my window. But we're going to talk about it. COVID numbers still happening. Sorry, COVID's still happening. We got to talk about COVID. International affairs and aid. Got some stuff going on with Turkey, right? Some stuff going on with Turkey. I got to update you guys on, right? Things are advancing. Shipwreck. Isle of Tortue Island. Very sad stuff. We're going to talk about that. Petroleum. There's some stuff happening in the petroleum market here in Haiti that we're going to talk about, right? And PetroCaribe is a part of that. Right? We're going to talk about it. Dmitri Vorb is arrested. Wow. Dmitri Vorb is arrested. Wow. We're going to talk about this, right? And then there's some other stuff going on in the energy, electricity sector we're going to talk about. And then finally, we're going to finish up with agriculture. We're going to figure some stuff going on in the agricultural space. We're going to talk about some development happening. It's really important to talk about. All right. So that's where we're at. Right. And I can't wait. We got lots to talk about. Haiti Biz News Show, the only place you'll find rational business, economic face news, some politique, some blasé, some us, some bêtises, just information, facts distilled in the purest sense, right? And we get to enjoy our conversation. How about that? Right? Take a little sip and we'll get started. Some good water right there. Before I go in, let me see what folks are saying. Caribbean Island Live says, "Do you live permanently in Haiti?" Come on now, you definitely knew Caribbean Island Life. Yes, I permanently live in Haiti. Right? What is the best, safest place to live? Anywhere. I don't mind. And then I love the Cameroon Hotel. The Cameroon is a great hotel, right? So where else? In the years 70, Port-au-Prince was not overpopulated. Youngs were conscious of their city. Yep. Things have changed, and Port-au-Prince is much larger than it used to be. You are right, Jacques Doors, right? So let's talk about the very first tropical storm Laura. It's happening right now outside my window. There's lots of rain. It's been raining since 5 a.m. It's supposed to keep on raining. It's really bad out there. I mean, it's not hurricane level stuff, right? It's not hurricane level stuff, but I mean, when I say like winds, right? But it's raining. It's, listen, Haiti's a place, 10 minutes of rain causes dégâts, I mean, listen, you saw the St. Louis Canal episode. I don't have to repeat this, right? The infrastructure isn't here. It's not that the rain. Listen, I was in the Dominican Republic. It was last year. It rains more in DR every day than it rains probably in a month here in Haiti, because the DR is on the side with the trade winds, right? And so it's really wet on the Dominican side, and plus it's a lot more green there, and trees actually attract more rain, right? They actually cause more moisture to recirculate. So DR is considerably more wet, but the infrastructure is in place where it doesn't even matter, right? It rains so aggressively, so hard, so long in DR, almost daily, but it doesn't matter because infrastructure is there. In Haiti, it rains. Luckily, it rains in the evenings mostly. I mean, that's usually around, you start seeing rainfall around 7, 6 in the evening, right? And that causes a mess. And when it gets to this point where it's a day rain and now folks, remember, there's no public infrastructure. There's no subways, no trams. It's just a couple guys with beat up trucks, who converted their trucks into taps, right? And they take people up and down, different artery ways. There's no air conditioning. There's no, if there's a little bit of rain, the rain just flows up on people, right? And so I can't explain to you. It's hard to put in words, what a storm like Laura is doing and it's gonna do at the end of the day, right? I can tell you right now, there are gonna be deaths. People are gonna die. And I hate to say it like this, but there's gonna be people who die from this rainfall, right? There's gonna be broken power lines. People are gonna not know walking to it. That's a piece of it. There's particular canals that are gonna overflow. People who live, because there's no codes, there's no enforcement of geology here. Like wherever there's free land, people go on that land and start building, and nobody can really tell them anything unless it's owned by someone who has, because so many people who left Haiti, and so unless they have a way to enforce, have somebody, gérant, as they say, to kick people off their land, it's whatever, right? And land that belongs to the state, forget about it. The state doesn't do its job in most ways. It's not going to do its job in terms of enforcing who. And plus, on top of that, when it's state land, then you get into the politics of it. Because the politics now, you're kicking people off land, off homes, and now you have an entire storm of protests, right? And so it's a tête chargée, but the key is people build where they shouldn't be building, and rainfalls like this reveal the imprudence of that practice. And that's how a lot of deaths happen, a lot of damage happens. And so we'll keep a very close eye next week when we get back on air. I'll certainly tell you what the stats were finally. But certainly they were predicting 4 to 8 inches of rain. I can tell you right now, from my vantage point, from my window, there's a street off Route 4. There's a part on Route 4 where literally I'm seeing people do this. You hear me? I'm seeing people, instead of walking, right? The water's so high, they're doing this. This is right now. Right now, I'm talking to you right now. It's 9 a.m. There's supposed to be at least another 5 to 6 hours of rain right now. And I'm looking out my window and I'm seeing people do this. They're doing this. They're backstroking in the street. You hear me? We're making a little bit of light of it, but it's serious. It's serious out here. So definitely, I hate to use this cliche, but priez pour Haiti. Pray for Haiti. Because again, it's not good right now. Now, in certain places out in the provinces, this rain is much needed. There's been drought-like conditions throughout the country for a long time. And so this rain is going to refill a lot of underwater basins. It's going to replenish a lot of the water, just the moisture, and it's actually going to be good for crops. So the medium-term effects of this rain is going to be overall good, because I think hopefully this year might be the first year in these 3 years we haven't had less average rainfall than before, just because of this storm, right? But that's a small benefit relative to the pain and suffering that this rainfall is going to bring. And bear in mind, we're still early in the season. We're in August. We're still early in the season. Meaning what? We're at least probably going to have 2-3 other tropical storms / hurricanes pass through here, at least, right? So pray for Haiti, and then after that, start praying for America. Start praying for Louisiana, right? Because this hurricane is looking to dead eye in Louisiana. We know what happened last time we hit New Orleans. A hurricane hit New Orleans. And on top of that, there's supposed to be another hurricane on top of that. An actual hurricane that's going to hit. Actually, this might become a hurricane by the time it gets to New Orleans. And then there's another tropical storm / hurricane that's also gunning for New Orleans. So once you pray for Haiti, but then pray for New Orleans, because they've shown also that they're under infrastructured and they really can't handle these sort of events either. So we're going to keep an eye on stuff, and certainly hope that these natural events don't cause too much pain and suffering anywhere across. And also, no one ever talks about Cuba either. No one ever talks about Cuba, which is bizarre to me. But it's supposed to pass over Cuba too, and so put the Cubans in your minds as well, because listen, Cubans have been tremendous friends to Haitians. They always send doctors and aid and staff to Haiti. They're very progressive when it comes to the blacks in their own country, right? And so and there's a reason why my Seejeanty logo, there's a sort of Pan-African colorism, right? We're not here, we're focused on Haiti. We're not here just for Haiti. We're here to, just like Issa Rae said, I'm here to support Black anywhere, anywhere, everywhere. I'm here to support it. And so let's also keep Cuba in our minds as well as this hurricane or tropical storm rolls through. Okay. Before I move on to the next news story, let's see what folks are saying. We got 509 Line. 509 Line, what's up, bro? Good to have you in the chat today. He says government, U.S. Actually counting on the upcoming disaster so they can get foreign aid. So Gov Us, I don't know what Gov Us means, but actually counting on upcoming disaster. Okay, so I'm guessing you're probably saying the Haitian government is depending on, is going to be waiting on for this, for quote unquote foreign aid. So I think certainly there's the COVID-19 has shown that the global economy, the global powers that be. What's the affaire? Vamos zombar, mon frère. Ou gen trop kote ou ga jouen pour là. Ou gen Roger Metropole, ou gen Tripotal Lakay, ou gen Johnson Napoleon, ou gen Liwewe. Faut comprendre, il faut que un côté que l'autre monde qui pas fin bon encore là, faut qu'à recevoir nouvelle sur Haïti. C'est une raison moun mal respecte nous comme ça. C'est parce que yo pas un côté que yo ka recevoir nouvelle dans langue pour comprendre culture Haïti. Pour yo même Haïti son côté moun manger moun, chez nous manger chien, nous manger tête. C'est parce que yo pas un côté yo ka recevoir en anglais ou en espagnol ou n'importe langue par yo ka recevoir nouvelle là, yo ka comprendre. So, désolé, si vous ne comprendre l'anglais à un niveau qui a fait suivre l'émission, désolé. Peut-être là, pas pour. Il y a l'autre côté où je jouer sur la nouvelle Haïti, il y a trois côtés actuellement, trois côtés. Mais qui est espace ça pour nous là, pour nous qui a plus de respect, plus d'amour pour pays nous. Qui est nous espace ça pour nous faire une exposition sur le pays pour l'autre monde. Vous comprenez peut-être là-bas pour non? Peut-être ça. Peut-être si là-bas pour on sur l'anglais trop rapide. Peut-être pas pour, c'est pas que je ne peux pas parler là, je peux parler facilement. Vous comprenez? Mais, désolé, bien qu'on vienne là-haut, même désolé, espace à pas pour d'autres monde qui sont intéressés dans le pays, qui veulent une nouvelle, des bases, tête fouette, qui ont un bon analyse, ça donne, c'est là mouillé. OK? Merci, Rudy. Sorry, guys, I had a quick intermission. We had our usual girl please guy come in, per usual. So yeah, I think for sure the COVID-19 shows that we have, there's benefits to disasters in the country that the government of Haiti benefits from, because they got a lot of money, because before no one was really gonna give COVID-19, Haiti any money, because we haven't had elections. We have a king right now. We have a dictatorship right now. Honestly, we do. He's literally dictating laws, right? Which is, by the way, unconstitutional. Nowhere in the Constitution of Haiti says that the president can dictate rule by decree, even though the president's been doing it since the new constitution has been in place. They've been using the decrees to run, but there isn't a single place in the Constitution where the powers of the president is defined that presidents can behave in the way that the president's behaving right now, which is very interesting. Very interesting. And so yeah, 509 I agree with you, bro. Absolutely, right? And by the way, those who are watching IG, remember, the stream's going to end at some point. I'm not going to renew it. Come to YouTube, Facebook, right? Let's see what folks are saying. Let's go up. Let's scroll up a little bit. Let's see who's in the chat. Let's see what folks are saying. We got Nafisuto Diagne, brand new in the channel. So welcome. If it's your first time, hit that subscription, hit that big red button wherever you're looking at, watching it from. We've got a lot of content on this channel. Go check it out. And we do this Haiti Biz News every Sunday, usually 11 a.m. We're on a little early because we got some stuff we got to take care of, today. So we're gonna have to leave a little earlier than usual, right? But Nafisito says, "Am I a deportee?" I am not a deportee. I am a guy who came to this country on my own volition. I chose to be here. Believe it or not, people can actually be very successful in other places of the world and actually say, you know what? Haiti can only change when Haitians decide to come back and soldier through the difficulties and employ and provide economic opportunity. And it's possible to be successful in this country, right? And I've shown this by my own personal capacity to be here. And I've shown this because I've shown other people who are willing to come back and build businesses here that are employing countless people and doing great things. And so, believe it or not, this may blow your mind. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? It's like I'm telling somebody the world Earth is flat. People can come to Haiti on their own choice to live. I'm doing the meme. I'm doing that meme. That what? For real? It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Life in Haiti. Marie. What's up, my girl? My life in Haiti is Marie's doing some really great stuff out in the country. So go watch Marie. She's doing some fantastic work. So respect. Thanks for being in the channel today. I think anyone who's listening to Life in Haiti's story has been touched and impacted tremendously. So, Life Marie, I hope you're doing well. And actually, you gotta send me a message later, my dear. There's a little bit of an update. I know you got some stuff going on. You gotta update me on that stuff that's going on. Okay. Make sure to give him that update, right? So you got the WhatsApp. Make it happen. We're good to see you in the chat today, Mari. And again, go hit up Life in Haiti. And it's been some really great stuff. We got Damans is here. Damans is here. Yeah, we talked about that. There's some stuff going on related to the hurricane, tropical storm. We talked about it. Do you have any ideas for Haiti's deforestation issue? Honestly, the fact of the matter is the deforestation issue. I mean, there's some stuff, to be clear, there are Haitians doing great work in that space of not only helping replant, but also the alternative energy area. Because the reason why there's deforestation is because there's poor Haitians who are chopping down trees and doing charcoal. They did it for years, and they continue to do it. And when you look in other places of the world where that stopped, it's because, for example, Jamaica had a big issue like this as well. But what you saw in Jamaica is that the government there, they incentivize people to stop doing it by actually providing them subsidized propane, right? Subsidized propane was provided to them. This is a national program to give the poorest people an alternative way to cook their food, right? That's really what it takes. There needs just like we're subsidizing gasoline in this country, which is insane to me. And we subsidize diesel even more, but the irony is that the folks who use diesel the most are those actually most adept to be able to afford to use diesel, right? Those who have private vehicles, those who run businesses here, like grocery stores, stuff like that. They could pay the unsubsidized price. Honestly, they could. I mean, it might mean a little higher prices in what they're selling, right? Because at the end of the day, business will try to pass on their costs to the consumer. But the folks who need the most subsidy are the poorest people who are using charcoal to burn food and to make food. And there again, when I mentioned there's private actors doing some stuff, I know of private actors who have alternative ways to who are providing alternatives to charcoal that are more efficient and more effective, right? But at the end of the day, it's like the saying. It's very similar to why because there's a lot of places you'll hear people say, why don't the government provide spaces for mashans, madam say, as people on the street to sell their stuff? Like, you get a space and allow them to be in that space and then clean and provide safety and protection from the weather conditions. The places like that exist, but you'll still see a good amount of people right outside on the street selling. And when you talk to them and you ask them, why is that? Why are you doing this like that? When you could have gone there, well, I have to pay money, even if it's 100 good, it's because there's a facilitation fee, right, to help pay for the maintenance and stuff. So I got to pay whatever it is, even if it's 10 good, I got to pay over there. The street is free. Same thing, charcoal is free, or just about a lot less cost effective, and to transport, to find, all that, than the other stuff that people are making to sell, right? And so until the Haitian government subsidizes an alternative, and then on top of that enforces with policing and go after people who are cutting down trees, making charcoal, there is never going to be a deforestation improvement in the country. So LF, thanks for that question, and that's the reality. Okay, that is the reality, right? So yeah, the Jacques Door says something very interesting. Says that the city of Port-au-Prince was built without sewage system, one of the biggest cities in the world without one. What a shame. He is absolutely right. Unbeknownst to people, Port-au-Prince is the largest city in the world without a centralized sewage system, right? Everyone builds a hole in the ground, and basically that's where it goes until it gets full, and then a company comes, sucks out the ground. And for a long time too, there wasn't even a sewage treatment plant for that. A lot of times they would suck it out the ground, go to the nearest ravine, and pump it out. Right? Only recently, after the cholera epidemic, we're talking like 2014 or something, that finally the international community and the government, the international community forced the government to create at least one facility for sewage treatment so they can take this stuff and put it, because before all they would do is, the ones that actually had a moral compass, they would take it to the one major trash landfill and just dump out the poo in the landfill. And again, there's a certain way you have to build a landfill to handle that sort of waste. It's toxic. We know this. Waste from humans is incredibly toxic, right? And so there's a way to do it to kind of ensure that toxicity doesn't seep into the ground, seep into the water levels. And that surely wasn't done at the general landfill, right? And so again, that's why the cholera epidemic happened. And, it's stuff like that makes you wonder, like, where is the state? Why is it that you have a state that doesn't take responsibility to do the things that needs to be done, right? It's one thing to say, well, there's no there's not enough schools per pupil. There's very little public schools. I think for the entire population of students going to school, less than 5% goes to a public school. The rest are private schools that they have to pay for, right? Which is insane, right? And one of the contributes to the illiteracy rates and education rates in the country. And then, of course, you talk about, and even the 5% who are at a public school, the salaries of these teachers go months without paid. And then, of course, you have the health situation being what it is. Very few hospitals, very ambulances are expensive and rare. And I mean, you go on and on. Policing, these are underpaid. But then we have certain things like sewage. The state should at least try to do sewage. They haven't done. But of course, it's not surprising. You're driving around, you're seeing the level of trash. It makes sense. A government that doesn't take trash serious won't take something that's even more serious, like sewage, right? But nonetheless, it works for most places and most people, because the first thing you build when you're building a property is you build that pit, that sewage pit, and which fills up over time and gets. So anyways, but Jacques Dorse was correct in that assessment. We got Christian Vaud saying, "Is there a city in Haiti? If not, why don't the diaspora make a modern city run by the diaspora? Is there a city in Haiti?" That's a weird question. No, there's no cities in Haiti. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see. Where are we? Damn it, went down. Let's see. Stephen Meta says, "Bat bravo pour la jeunesse." The problem who just stated existed for years. Let's see. Glenda K, happy Sunday. What's up? First time I'm seeing you in chat. 11 a.m. Sundays is when we're here. We're chatting what's going on in the country. Happy to have you. He is lying about the dictator part. I don't know what you mean. The Constitution has been changed multiple times before. Okay. I wonder, has this person read the Constitution? Okay. I'm not here to argue with you, buddy. So LF says, the president brought up changing Constitution recently. Joe wants to change the Constitution. From J. George. Marcus Guru says, what are the factors driving the cost of land in Haiti? What are the factors driving the cost of land in Haiti? So somebody owns it and says, I want to sell it for this amount of money. And that's it. That's really it. I don't know if you're looking for a market analysis. It's not that complicated in Haiti. Somebody thinks they have ownership. It's important I say think they have ownership, right? And then they'll try to sell it to you for a price that they can get from you. And then eventually, after so many years, somebody will actually find a buyer, and that's how land works. Not sure what you're looking for, Marcus. Not sure what you're looking for. Let's see. Let's see what folks are saying. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Is there a company that makes briquettes out of cardboard box still operating? As I mentioned before, there's plenty of these companies operating, but it's hard to compete with the price point that charcoal is, right? Because it's free to cut down a tree, right? And when you're starting from a price point of free, it's hard to be competitive, right? And so that's why you have to provide a subsidized alternative with law enforcement, making sure that they go after folks who cut down trees, right? Bob Jones, salute. First time I've seen you in chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. hit that thumbs up. Happy to have you. Truth King in the house. First time I'm seeing you, Truth King. A lot of new faces in the chat. Maybe it's because I'm doing the show so early outside of my usual time. Make sure that subscribe button. We're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. We're doing a little early. Just got some stuff to do, right? Let's see. We go. Oh, Truth King says, "I love the work, and always watching, giving you motivation." So thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Jay George says, in Saint Domingue, you get arrested if you cut a tree. Yo, that's one reason why Saint Domingue's doing so much better than us, right? And that's what needs to happen, right, in Haiti. Until that starts happening, until you start seeing arrests of tree cutters in the country, we're not going to have a deforestation improvement. It just is what it is. Ido says, it's a good question, actually. Like China built economic zones with folks living outside of Haiti with the ability to invest could petition government for at least that, so we can start building. Yeah, there isn't that. There isn't that. Land is a very dicey thing in Haiti. I mean, look, you have the mayor of Delma, Seejeanty, doing some really good stuff here, using the powers that are constitutionally given to him as a Mali to take land that's vacant, that's being undeveloped, to try to put parks, to try to build infrastructure in the country. And they say he's a land stealer, right? Because the moment anyone finds out there's land being purchased or being done by the state, you'll see 20 different claims on that land saying, oh, this land was mine, right, actually. And they show up with paperwork that may or may not be fraudulent, right? And now the state has to give money, because the way the state will never just take money, just take land. They have to, it's like when you use public domain, you have to pay out the people who claim that land. And it happens to Seejeanty, right? Who, for all accounts, is one of the most productive, politicians in the country. A rarity when it comes to someone who actually isn't about his pockets. It's actually about developing the zone that he's responsible to. Delma is clean. You see development. Roads are being built in Delma under Seejeanty. Again, I can't wait to cast my vote for him for president in 2022. Right? I feel if he can run the country the way he runs Delma, Haiti will be in the right place. But even him, they claim that he's a land stealer. Right? Folks who don't understand Haiti, folks who are outside, who are hearing stuff from other people, they say he's a land stealer. So that just goes to show you, when it comes to land, you can't win with land when it comes to the government, right? Because this is a Wild Wild West. And it really starts with the notary public, the official who acts as the recorder of deeds, in effect. A lot of times, they're the ones who are involved in the most theft of land, right? In the most fraudulent creation of land titles, right? And land theft, right? It starts with them, and it works all the way up from the judge, juge de paix. It grows up the ladder, right? But it starts at the notary. Land surveyor is another one that's involved in a lot of fraudulent land acquisitions and records. And so it's very hard for me to ever see, even by a good government that has its head together, that's run by a Rwandan-like president with a Rwandan-like parliament, to ever be able to do big land initiatives unless there's massive land reform. There has to be like a legal, massive land reform that happens in the country that simultaneously change the laws to where that sort of crap can't happen. And then on top of that, systematically records deeds, systematically, and says, hey, listen, here's a window, 6 months. Come record your deeds. Give us the proof that you have in terms of ownership of this land. And they track it by GPS too. They do GPS tracking and give you deeds, for it. And then after that, that's it. After that 6 months of recording land, that's it. Nobody can come in. There ain't no back and forth. And those land that doesn't get claimed is owned by the government now. And the government then can repartition out, resell it, and make money that way, right? And then record it the right way, right? So until that happens, that's going to cause a lot of anger, a lot of backlash. A lot of people aren't going to be happy. But there needs to be a way to clean up our land system in this country. Our land, the biggest thing, the easiest way for me to ignore you, right, is to say, hey, I'm a Haitian diaspora. I'm living it, and I want to buy some land. How can you inform me, Seejeanty? Man, listen, I ignore you so quick. I'm serious, man. Like I hit that ignore button quicker than I can reflex. The reason why is there is nothing more dicey in this country than land. You know, all the stuff you usually see about in diaspora losing investments and stuff. It's because they're coming here and they're trying to do land transactions, and I can't help you. I'm in the country looking to buy land, and it's a slow going process, right? You have to. When you're buying land, you're not buying land. You're buying the truthfulness of what the person's telling you, because and you want to use references. You want to be given a reference of somebody who's buying land, who has land ownership of someone for sure that if it goes south, you can go to that person and you can tell them, hey, I'm getting some heat, man. What's going on? You promised me that the land was clear title and there wasn't going to be any headaches. And there's a circle of intimate trust of any land sale that happens in the country that you can't get if you're abroad, right? You have to be in the country to build those relationships, to know if a land has clear title or not, right? Any other way to do land transaction in the country is insane, and I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm not even going to inform you about it because I don't want to be a part of you losing money, because you're going to lose money. Haiti is not a place where you can fly in, buy land, and fly out. It doesn't work that way, right? Stay in your country, stay in America. Become a real estate tycoon in Florida, New York. Go to middle of nowhere, go to Orlando, buy land. Haiti doesn't work that way, right? It's a wild, wild west when it comes to land, right? And again, things have to change. Things have to change, right? So, anyways, that was IEDO's response there. He says, next, Jonathan Mo says, are there any solar energy companies based in Haiti? There's companies that use solar panels to provide areas, villages, and small parts in Haiti. Electricity, people pay for it. It works rather well, and some places actually make enough energy where they sell some of that solar energy to EDH actually. So there are small solar companies in Haiti, and they're doing actually relatively well. That is a type of industrial lane that you can actually, a lot of people can get into. They don't know this. They can get into and actually make a good, decent amount of money actually. So thanks for that question. Yeah, yes, they are. Christian Vod says, my early question was, is there a city that only Haitian diaspora has made? The answer is no. Jacques Dar says the word diaspora, if I'm mistaken. Okay, Lucien Moussare, good to see you. Hello. First time I'm seeing you in the chat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Happy to have you in the chat today. He says there's a recent Caribbean growth company that closed, employers employing 4,000. Where can we get reinvesting in that project? So I did talk about that, if not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. I don't know what you mean you can reinvest. I don't quite understand what you mean, because it was a Korean company. It was a Korean company that is a massive conglomerate. They have facilities all over the world, and they close their doors here. And so if you're going to invest, do you have a few $100,000? Do you have a group of people behind you that have a few $100,000? Because that's what you need, right? This is not, hey, I got $20 and I want to invest, quote unquote, invest. This is, so Lucien, listen, put it like this, Lucien. I hate to sound like this, but I'll be honest with you, bro. If you're in a chat, a YouTube chat, asking these questions, you probably shouldn't be doing that level of business in Haiti. If you're not connected enough to know the channels to go to be able to set up a business like that yourself, you probably shouldn't be trying to be in that business lane. It's a very, textiles is it's probably the largest industrial investment that happens in this country. It takes a lot of money to get those sort of things approved, just because of the fact that you're going to get space in an industrial park. That's where they happen. And you need a certain dollar value investments to even qualify to be able to get those sort of exemptions and taxes. And so You know, it's one of those things. It's like walking to a Gucci store, right? If you're walking to a Gucci store and you're asking about prices, you probably shouldn't be in the Gucci store. The Gucci store is a place you walk in, you buy it, you know, and you see what the invoice is the next day when you check your credit card statement. And that's what textile investment is in this country. And so that's the best thing I can tell you, Lucien, right? If you're looking to do this sort of investments, you got to have a few $100,000 in the bank, and that's step number one. If you have that, feel free to message me, and I'll put you in contact with a lawyer. That's step number two. Get in contact with a lawyer who can guide you, get you registered, and get you going in the right direction. But minus the money part, you're really barking up the wrong tree. JJ says, can the diaspora vote in Haiti? You can. It's a process that requires you getting a ONA card, which is doable. You see, back in the day, it was a little more tricky. Back before 2012, it was a little tricky because you had to actually show that you weren't dual citizenship. You know, but now that dual citizenship being official on the record, the process is a little long, right? But once you get your paperwork in the country, and you get your basically your national ID card. Your national ID card allows you to vote, right? But it's a very long and onerous process that I probably should make a video about at some point, right? How to vote in the country for the diaspora, right? So that's on the to-do list of things to talk about here in Haiti. In fact, let me jot a little quick note about me, let me see, on new Pale ideas. I like that question. How can the diaspora vote? Right. Let me go and send that email to myself so I can search for it later. I like that question. A very long conversation that I certainly don't have the time to get into here today. But the short answer is absolutely it can. Right. We got Nizanga in IG. I did see your DM, and I didn't respond because I have a lot of people DM me. I don't. If you don't, here guys, let me give you guys a tip. If you guys are gonna try to direct message me, just tell me what you want. Just write it. You know, just say, hey, here's what I need. You know, or here's what I want to know. You know, here's the information. Just write it. Right. I have a lot of people who message me. I'm not here to be a pen pal to 1,000 people a day. I have businesses I'm running. I work as a full-time consultant. I run a media company. So understand, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but guys, if you want to message me, I want to be a jerk to you guys. Here's how you do it. Just tell me what it is. What is it that you want? Just type it. Hey, Seejeanty, love what you're doing. You know, I'm coming into Haiti. I'm about to do a business. Would love your ideas. Half the time, I already did a video on it. And so if you write me that, I'll just say, hey, cool. Appreciate what you're doing. Here's the video that I already did about it. Go check out the video. Keep watching the content. Keep doing what you're doing. Right? Right now, if it's something legitimately like next level, you already made the investments. You're here. You got employees. You're doing some stuff. You know, you've already shown that you stepped. You're not, because you know how many people reach out to me with an idea. Oh, right. Ideas are great, but listen, I didn't ask anybody when I was coming to Haiti. You know, an idea phase. I just pulled the trigger. I moved here, right? And then as I was here, I was having conversations with people, running to people face to face, you know, and then having those conversations in real time. And that's how you build the real connections and real relationships, just by being here and having those conversations and meeting people. Because when you're here, you see there's a lot of people doing a lot of really interesting stuff in the country. It's not what you're seeing on TV and stuff, right? And so, but anyways, guys, if you want my attention, don't just say, hey, can I ask you a question? Hi. What? I will ignore you. I'm sorry. I see IG is ending. Remember, if you're watching me on IG, come on YouTube, Facebook, Seejeanty. I'm not going to renew it, because IG is dumb. IG is like IG is social media. Lives should last longer than a few minutes. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the real chat, in the real social media, as lives that last a lot longer, right? So let's see. We got Miguel Rosa says, such a shame that individuals are cutting down trees. Very, very, very sad, Miguel. Good to have you in the chat, by the way. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if it's your first time. And I hope to see you again. Usually 11 a.m. is when we do the lives. Sammy Lamy says, to employ 4,000 people, you need a couple millions, right? Lucian says, I did answer your question. Good stuff, good stuff. Where's Dimitri? We're going to talk about it, actually. Highly Favored says, it's crazy how difficult it is for Haitians to buy land in the country, but many people, white people own land in lands in Haiti, aka the Clintons. When I was growing up, it was against the Constitution. When were you growing up? Because that, to own land, that was removed out of the Constitution back in the 30s after the U.S. occupation. U.S. occupation made that legal. So I'm not too sure what, how long you've been alive. You've been alive a long time. that law's been changed for a while, my friend. I had to get dual citizenship. Hold on, we have dual citizenship is a thing in Haiti. It's legal. It's been legal since 2012, because before once you became a citizen of another country, you basically lost all your rights in Haiti, which was very annoying, right? As you can, just a little bit annoying. Actually, let me do something here, guys. Bear with me here. Let me do that with me here, guys. Bear with me here. Yikes. Wow. So I'm getting news here that wow. I'm getting news here. Just in, guys, live, fresh off the wire here. The airport in Haiti is flooded. Okay, the airport in Haiti is flooded and it's closed. So anybody who was looking to fly in today, it's not going to happen. The airport is flooded. So, okay, just FYI, guys, the airport in Haiti is flooded. Okay, and the airport's closed. So I'm not sure if anyone had plans to fly in today, but that's where we are. I just came in just through the wire right now. Okay. Just FYI. So as I was saying, dual citizenship, it is a thing, but the problem is that though it's in the books, it's legal. Parliament never passed a way for you to very easily exercise it. Right. The law says as long as your mom and dad is Haitian, then you're Haitian. No matter where your citizenship is, and you can get legality. For me, it was really easy to claim it because I had a Haitian birth certificate, and my birth was registered in the National Archives, and so it was real easy. I just had to pull up, show my birth certificate. They pull up my National Archives, and then boom, I had my legal paperwork, and everything else was just dominoes, But for a Haitian who was born outside of Haiti, who has a non-Haitian birth certificate, there isn't a legal, even though the Constitution, it was a constitutional amendment, right? That was amended. Even though the Constitution was amended and there's a law in place that recognizes you as a dual citizen, you can't exercise it because there isn't a legal way for you to show that you should be registered in National Archives. That's the very first step. You need to be registered in National Archives. There isn't a way for you to be registered in National Archives right now legally, right? And until that changes, there isn't a way to exercise your dual nationality. Parliament needs to do their job, and the bill is sitting with Parliament. They need to vote on it. They need to pull it up and vote on it, and it hasn't been voted on. Parliament. We have a parliamentary constitution in Haiti, but they blame the president for everything, and they don't do their jobs in terms of running and administering the country. That's where we are in Haiti, right? But in any case, but yeah, for those who don't know, yes, we do have dual citizenship, but there isn't a way if you don't have a Haitian birth certificate to very easily exercise that dual citizenship, right? And in effect, all the dual citizenship law does right now is if you're born in Haiti, you leave and become a citizen elsewhere, you don't lose your citizenship. That's what it does right now. That's not the intent. The intent was actually, if you were born outside of Haiti to Haitian parents, you're still Haitian and still have rights, but there isn't a way to legally exercise it, right? I know people who still get their paperwork, and I'll leave it at that, right? You can. I'm not saying you can't get your paperwork. I'm saying there isn't a legal way to get your paperwork. You hear me? All right. Carl Jules, you are wrong. Just Google it, bro. Google Haitian dual citizenship. It was passed under Matali. Okay, so Carl Jules, you're wrong. There is dual citizenship legally. It just the way to exercise it is rather painful, right? Let's see what else we got going on here. Lots of chat. Pap is full of water. Yeah. I was leaving for the U.S. on Tuesday. Hopefully, it may be dry by then. Who knows? Let's see. Christian Viad. GoFundMe to. Sorry, Haiti doesn't work by GoFundMe, bro. That doesn't. Christian Viad. Haiti doesn't work that way. You can't GoFundMe a new city. It's great that you're thinking about it, but that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, that wouldn't work, right? Because the person you're giving your money to would have to be extremely well connected, and even though again the president of Haiti couldn't. Listen, there's been projects, for example, there's supposed to be a sewage treatment plant. The second one that was supposed to happen near Titain. And the president himself couldn't reclaim the land. Listen, and there's a project in Okap happening right now where there's a landfill, a 30 plus hectare landfill that is necessary, crucial for the North. I don't know of any other landfill, honestly, in the North right now. And every head of state, municipal mayor, senator, deputy, are trying to get land, unused land, to do this very important public works project. The IDB's behind it, the World Bank's behind it, the European Union's behind it. But it took them almost 3 years in court because every single person with a post who just walked by the land said, you know what? I have claim to that land. It's my land too. That's the legal environment land is in Haiti, right? There's no real deeds and titles, and for the level of fraud that happens, it's insane, right? And even if it's legally owned, if the person has a kid and the kid has 10, like they have 3 sons, each son has, and especially the dad dies, then each son has rights to the land. So if one son sells the land, the other 2 can come 10 years later and say, wait a minute, I didn't approve on this. Here's my paperwork. I didn't approve on this land sale. Give me my money or give my land back. Come on, bro. It's so fatiguing. Just take my word from me. Anybody who comes at the most tétanger thing you can do in Haiti is think you can come in Haiti and buy land. And so leave this naive idea until you hear of structural land reform in the country. Seriously, leave this naivety that you can come and do different land. Listen, unless you're physically in the country to network, and get land. Land is one of the most tétanger things, man, and that I really can't express. Like folks who even spend a month here, they understand it, right? And so there's a degree of naivety that is fatiguing to engage in. I know I'm about the diaspora, informing them and increasing their knowledge base, but the naivety as relates to land is fatiguing to keep having to repeat and keep having to tell folks it doesn't work like that in Haiti. Land is something you do not engage in. If it's your first affair, you do different things. You live here for a while. You fais business, you fais l'autre activité, you rent, right? But don't come in this country think you can just come and do a GoFundMe. C'est au niveau de naïveté, man. Il va bon pour engager with. It's not bon. Let's see, how can I do African DNA ancestry in Haiti? Not sure that's a thing that exists. And then humility before Honor says if there's no legal way to exercise dual citizenship, because there's a law. There's a law. There's a law that says you are a citizen if you have a Haitian parent. There's a law. It was passed. Parliament actually incredibly voted on it, passed it. Marley made it into law. It's a law. Now there's a second, and any law is like this, right? A law goes into place, and then there has to be other laws that go in to facilitate that law. It's a very simple thing, right? You can say, that it's legal. For example, maybe you can understand this. In America, they said discrimination or black people are human beings, right? Right? Remember the 13th Amendment to the Constitution says what? Black people are human beings. They're not property. Cool. Did that mean we automatically have voting rights? No. There was another amendment to give us voting rights. Did that mean we can buy property, right, without redlining and banks denying us just because we're in a black area? No. There had to be specific laws to prevent redlining, right? There had to be specific laws after that to talk about discrimination in the workplace, right? So there can be a law. So a law by itself doesn't mean anything if there aren't other laws to facilitate the effect of that law, right? And I think you can understand that if you're black in America, right? There needs to be other laws to help ensure that the primary law is followed, right? And so that's what I'm saying. In Haiti, there isn't the other laws to help facilitate that primary law, right? So hopefully that you can make the connection now, right? There is a dual citizenship law, but there isn't a very clear way in this very unique case where you're not born in Haiti to exercise your rights. There isn't a legal way to do it, right? You can still do it, but there isn't a legal way to do it, right? I hope that answers your question. Eric says, don't think having a lawyer notary will ensure you're safe in land, right? That's true. I don't know if the local community runs things. I don't know what that means. Even they have issues, right? No one runs any land in Haiti. No one runs things, right? You just gotta ensure that there isn't a lot of other people who will try you, right? That's really what it boils down to when you buy land in Haiti. You just gotta see, who's gonna try you and try to get that land from you. Black Millennial says the Haitian diaspora passed dual citizenship. Yes. Just Google it. Google it. Martilly dual citizenship. Google it. You'll see it for yourself. The corrupt legal system allows them to do it, and that's talking about land reform. So we just went through a lot of comments, and so basically we're gonna run through the news here, and then I'll get back to the comments. COVID numbers. We have 2,400 active cases in Haiti. That's up. That's the first time we've been up. For 3 weeks we were down COVID numbers. So it's the first time we actually saw uptick by 96 active cases. That's very unfortunate, and we don't know how much is it as it relates to people flying into the country. A lot of people also in Haiti aren't wearing masks, aren't doing protective measures as they used to, and so a combination of two things probably contributed to the uptick. We certainly hope that we don't see this continue in that manner. DR actually is seeing a decrease for the second week in a row. There hasn't been any more deaths, by the way, in Haiti. The death count is still the same week over week, which is good to hear. And in DR, the death count is up by 1,400, so it's still at the same pace that we've seen it. International affairs, right? The Minister of Foreign Affairs in Turkey was in Haiti. They signed 7 MOUs. 7 MOUs relating to political consultation, diplomacy, academic diplomacy, disaster management, economic cooperation, cultural cooperation, cooperation on archiving, and technological cooperation, right? So they signed 7 MOUs to start working very closely together. And so we'll see where that leads to. They didn't say anything specific to electricity, which is the main reason why they're working together. Nothing more formal was signed, though we will give an update on, because they're already in progress, right? Turkey has already said they're going to finance the natural gas, and also they will finance the solar panel project, which is really a set of solar panel facilities all across the country, which we talked about before in other episodes. And so they've are going to find it's already agreed upon. They're on the stage right now where the contract that was signed is being reviewed by the Superior Court of Accounts, which is basically an auditor of contracts. And so we're going to give some news on that later on. There's been a shipwreck at Isle of Tortue that happened over the week. Very sad. 17 people have died. They lost their lives. And so what happened is Isle of Tortue is an island of the north of Haiti, very famous island. It used to be like a pirate island for a long time. Pirates of the Caribbean. When they talk about the pirate island that's associated with islands of the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean, the movie Disney, they're talking about Haiti and they're talking about Tortue Island. And so Tortue Island, as you imagine, it's an island. So people who commute back and forth, they can do it on a boat, right? And the only way to get a lot of supplies, a lot of different things, is by boat. In Haiti, nothing's regulated. In Haiti, the condition of the ships doesn't really matter, right? And this boat was, number one, overloaded with people and things. And apparently the conditions on the water were very choppy, very windy, and combination of things happened to where the boat sunk. The boat sunk. A lot of people in Haiti don't know how to swim. And even if they did, to swim in effectively the open ocean, right? There's at least a good 40 miles between the water and the island, something like that. A very large, I don't know, it's 40 miles, but 10 miles. Listen, you can be an Olympic swimmer. You want to be able to swim that thing, depending on where, particularly depending on where it sunk. It's like in the middle of the path. And so literally, and a lot of folks, even though some reports that I read, they did offer life vests, but a lot of them didn't wear it. A lot of them, it's hot, as you can imagine. The sun's beating up on you. It's just literally, it's just like a big old boat with a sail in it, right? So it's hot, sun's beating up on you. So a lot of people choose not to wear it, and there's no real regulations that necessitate people to ensure that they are following conditions on both sides, the boat and the people, right? And so what happened is that the boat, small dingy boat, one thing led to another, it sunk. 17 people died. 17 people drowned in that water. 9 people survived. So, incredibly, 9 people survived, but 17 died, right? What needs to happen, of course, is we need more regulation as relates to the condition of these boats. People need to wear life vests. They need to wear life vests. These boats should have ways to communicate SOS. There should be a way where if one of these boats are having issues, they can SOS and get the Haitian Coast Guard. When we do, believe it or not, we do have a Coast Guard. They have like 2 boats or something. It's barely any infrastructure for the Haitian Coast Guard. They get the Haitian Coast Guard to come in and intervene and help. And in places where we know there's a lot of sea traffic, like Isle of Tortue, like Isle of Tortue, there needs to be stations for the Coast Guard to very quickly react, right? But none of that exists. It's like I'm being as naive as someone who's looking to buy land in Haiti from outside. It's naivety to even say these things because we're so far away from any real regulation, any real infrastructure on anything. I'm literally talking up to the clouds. So I'm asking, hey, what if one day we could fly? That's the level of common sense things that should happen and should exist in Haiti. That's where we are. Like just saying common sense things. It's talking naivety. Next time il va qu'on paye. Il va qu'on paye, non? S'il pense ça va dire fait qu'une possibilité, right? Well, I do know the country, and I do still wish we had common sense leaders who were in place to put these sort of common sense infrastructures in place, because we have 17 people dead who did not need to be dead right now. Haitian, our fellow Haitians, it could be our mother, it could be our cousins, could be our grandmothers, could be our aunties, right, who are dead right now without their lives. And there's gonna be no justice. There's gonna be no recourse. There's gonna be no benefit, in place for these people. And it's very sad. It's very, very sad, that this is where we are in 2020, right? As relates to petroleum, we do have a report when it comes to petroleum. It's a very interesting story. We have Prime Minister Youth has hinted a retakeover of imports of gas in the country, right? He's hinted that there needs to be a retakeover. The state needs to retake over oil imports. They've talked about it, the amount of money that these oil distributors, I mean, everyone along the chain of gasoline in the country is making money hand over fist. I've talked about this on my Facebook page, where literally we've had the only development that happens in the country is gas stations. That's it. In the 3 years I've lived here in Haiti, going on 4 years now, the only development that happens in Haiti is gas stations. That's it, right? I don't see hospitals aren't being built. I don't see schools being built. I barely see roads being built. I don't see infrastructure. I don't see police stations being built, except ones that are built out of containers, painted with the police logo. I don't see progress happening in the country, except for gas stations. Every other corner, and where there's a gas station on a corner, there's probably going to be another gas station being built on that same corner. Literally, right? That's the only development that happens, meaning there's money being made hand over fist, but the state is still in this position where they have to subsidize imports of gas, and they're losing buku money over 10 years. A report has come out that the state has lost $1.7 billion through subsidies of petroleum imports. Meanwhile, in last year alone, there was 94 or $84 million of profits made by private actors in the space of petroleum, right? So there's something going on here, right? Where you're seeing the only development happening in the country is gas stations, right? They're making money hand over fist. But then the biggest red line item that happens, right? The biggest red line item that happens in Haiti, when I say the government, when the biggest expenditure lines that Haiti spends, the Haitian government spends, is on subsidies of petroleum. Something has to give. Something doesn't make sense. Something's not working right in the country, where you have a state, and forget what you may feel about how badly the Haitian government is being run by the Haitian politicians. There's something just fundamentally wrong when you have a state being, critical funds that could go to building schools, building hospitals, building roads, building infrastructure, going into a segment of the population that the economy that is making money hands over fist, right? Now, at the same time, we understand that gasoline is a very dicey subject. We understand that to raise or remove the state from the market in terms of the gas prices, or at least remove the subsidy, is to mean riots in the streets, because that's one thing that all Haitians are very connected to. They're connected to the petroleum, right? Because from the tap driver to the guy leaving the provinces to make deliveries to the grocery store owner, every single facet of the country is connected to petroleum, because the state doesn't produce electricity. Everyone has to go out and buy petroleum themselves. So when there's an increase of price of petroleum, that affects every single Haitian from the very top to the very bottom. And so that's one thing Haitians will unite against on all levels of society, all classes, if there's a massive change in prices that they pay directly, because they pay for it directly, right? And so it's a very dicey subject. And it's hard to say what's the right way forward. But certainly there needs to be a structure in place, and there's need to be follow-up by the government to ensure that the private sector shares in that burden of providing affordability into the market. There needs to be regulation, audits being done because what's happening is a lot of these companies are just, because you can basically tell the state, oh, well, this is how much it costs me to ship, and then the state actually pays you a reimbursement for transportation and petroleum. And then on top of that, when you say you bought this amount of money for the state, there's a way from the state, right? There's a way to actually tell the state how much you bought it for, right? Because the state's supposed to give you the difference, right? Because the state actually, the state is demanding that you sell the gas in the country at a price lower than you're going to buy it from the market, right? In general cases. Now, the fact that gas is so incredibly cheap right now in the world market, that's a whole different conversation. But in general, the gas is higher than what the state is saying you have to sell it by. But what a lot of folks are doing is they're saying that the price point that they purchased it from is a lot higher than what it really was, right? Because the contracts and relationships aren't so clear to very clearly share, right? And so it's a very complicated mess, but suffice to say, the private sector isn't sharing on the same level of burden as the state, and that's a bit problematic, right? So that's where we're at, and we'll see ultimately how aggressively the state goes after this. Certainly one thing that's the state has made very clear, they're taking the energy sector very serious. As you can see, their war with Seejeanty, which we're going to talk about Dimitri Vorb in a second. They're taking the energy very serious, and if they're hinting at this, it's probably going to happen. Next news when it comes to petroleum has to do with PetroCaribe. The PetroCaribe report is out, and the superior courts have finished their final report on PetroCaribe, and they found some interesting things. Right, there's a final report, and this is how I'm going to just summarize it. It's a lot of fraud. Billions of dollars of fraud has happened over presidents starting from Preval, who put this in place, up until Matali, and of course into the presidency of Jovenel Moise. And from the words of the Court of Superior Courts and from the Superior Court of Accounts and Administrative Litigation, this is their words. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. They said that this report shows that significant deficiencies have been associated with the planning and the implementation of the development programs and projects financed by the PetroCaribe Fund. The court clearly established that key steps relating to the sound management of investment projects were not followed. The interrelation required between the key parameters, the nature and the extent of the work, the cost estimate, the schedule for successful implementation of development projects, such as those financed by the PetroCaribe Fund, is failing. For many projects examined, a poor definition of needs, the use of incomplete estimates and insufficient risk analysis, the addition of work deemed not essential, explain the observed overruns of the real costs in projects in relation to those announced on the outset. Ultimately, the court demonstrated that the key steps related to the sound management of real estate projects were not followed, and in doing so, investment projects and contracts related to PetroCaribe Fund were not managed in respecting the principles of efficiency in the economy. In addition, no concern for future generations has been taken into account in the implementation in these projects. End quote. So many words. The short of it is there was massive fraud. Things were created without regard to it being done correctly, being done cost efficiently. It was just a bunch of money in a pot, and people stuck their hand in and put that money in their pockets. And whatever they can grab, whatever they can get their fingers on, they grab, they put in their pockets. And on top of that, always understand the PetroCaribe, it's a loan. Like it's not free money, man. It's not free money. Like when we say $2 billion has been stolen, like I don't want you to think that, oh, it's stolen and well, shucks. Well, darn it, shucks. Those politicians. Ooh. No, I need you to understand, like this $2 billion, we're going to be paying for the next 10 to 20 years. A lot of people like to come on and say, well, France owes us money. The indemnity has cost us generations, hundreds of years of maldevelopment. This is another indemnity. Just so you know, done to ourselves, done by the Haitian politicians, right? This is another French indemnity that we're going to have to be paying for the next decades to come. That's what PetroCaribe is. I just need folks, you guys need to understand that. By Haitian politicians who are untouched, who are driving around in Mercedes vehicles, à l'aise, cool as a cucumber, knowing that they're not going to be arrested. There's going to be no charges put up against them. Meanwhile, we have 17 lives who were killed trying to going to Tortue Island, right? Where if the state was run correctly, there would have been a Coast Guard, two Coast Guards, one on the St. Louis du Nord side, where it was just a state, and there would have been a Coast Guard on the side of Tortue Island, and a system, each boat would have been required to put a SOS system in their boats, right? To ensure that these lives would have been lost. And PetroCaribe funds could have been used to help with that. That's what I mean. This is what PetroCaribe, corruption, it costs lives. And of course, there's interviews with Lamont Matali saying, well, there's corruption in every country. But understand, in Haiti, corruption costs lives. When you don't build that road, right now in Haiti, the airport is shut down. You hear me? The airport is shut down. It's flooded right now. Why? Because there wasn't money to properly put an infrastructure in place to ensure that rain is diverted away from the airport. On a regular rainy day, the airport can shut down. There's a tropical storm on us right now. I'm talking to you. It's raining right now. Look, in the window. Right now, there's rain happening right now. I'm in the middle of a tropical storm right now. It's still going. It's still inundating. Happening right now. And the airport shut down because money that should have went to infrastructure projects didn't go to infrastructure projects. Just one example. That's two examples. A travesty. And will there be justice? No. Will anyone go to jail for PetroCaribe? No. Will there be a single dollar refunded to the state to help pay this loan, this $2 billion loan that we're going to have to pay for decades to come? No. It's a travesty. And that's one of the saddest things about being a Haitian, to know that you rep the country so hard. You individually are working so hard to employ and do good things, but then, it's undeniable when reports like this, it's not just me talking. It's not just me in a barbershop talking and saying there's corruption in Haiti and it's costly. It's not just, there's a report out by auditors, independent auditors in Haiti saying, naming names, by the way, naming names. Here's who did it. Here's the construction companies involved. Here's the, politicians who signed and the ministries of, planning and environment, and they signed these, and here's the signatures. They're saying, here it is, right here. Every single name in there could be gone after. Every single person in this report in a developed country, in a country that understood the rule of law, seriously valued anti-corruption practices and really understood the impact it has on lives. Each person would be in jail right now for their role in PetroCaribe. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. We got to move on. The next news story we got to talk about is Dmitri Vorb. Dmitri Vorb was arrested in America. Him and his wife arrested in America. Wow. That was a bombshell when I read that initially. Wow. Now, the official reason ICE arrested him, he overstayed his visitor visa. He had a regular visa. And of course, he was doing a lot of lives recently, and in his very plush somewhere in Miami apartment, really nice. He'd be on his balcony. He had a condo up there somewhere. It looked like it was, where's that? Biscayne Bay Park, right? Really nice stuff. But the whole time he was on a visitor's visa. And, well, in the era of Trump, you overstay, you get arrested. And he was arrested by ICE. 24 agents showed up, arrested him. And as we speak right now, unless something has changed, while we're on air, he's still sitting in a detention center. And by the way, the average time most Haitians spend in a detention center in America is somewhere around 2 years, FYI. I'm gonna say it again. On average, Haitians spend up to 2 to 4 years in a detention center. Now, Dimitri Vorbe is a man of means. I'm sure he has attorneys that are going to be fighting very aggressively for him. Okay. So I don't suspect he's going to do 2 years. I suspect he'll probably do maybe a few days. We'll see. Particularly, he can probably use a defense and say if he gets deported, he'll be politically prosecuted, given the climate of what the Haitian state's doing against Seejeanty right now, right? Though I hear other people saying, well, is it really political persecution? He had a relationship with the state saying he defrauded them, and we're, it's not, if he was a journalist, right, or just a freedom fighter or activist, potentially could use persecution. But no, he had a relationship with the state of Haiti. The state of Haiti accused him of things, and now, before he could probably, go to court and refute things, he ran away, right? And that's what the other side's saying. I'm not saying one thing or another. I'm just telling you what the other side's saying. And so we're gonna see if you can properly use that defense, because honestly, anybody who knows Haiti knows it's all politics. Right? I just ran on a rant about PetroCaribe, how no one who actually did real fraud is in jail, right? No one who did real fraud is in jail, but yet you guys are going to have Seejeanty. You're arresting Seejeanty people for quote unquote fraud in the energy space, right? I would believe that if you arrested at least one person out of PetroCaribe, if one person was arrested who was part of the fraud, whose name was mentioned in that report, I would say, well, listen, we got to start somewhere with the rule of law, and I guess we're going to start with Seejeanty, right? After the PetroCaribe, right? But if you're not going to arrest any person or actor named in 3 reports that clearly indicates fraud happened, then you can't tell me that the Seejeanty thing isn't just purely politics as well, right? So a part of it too was that there's been some talk saying that potentially that the Haitian state did an extradition request, and it's actually the Trump embassy and the Trump government who's actually responding to that request and saying and using ICE as a pretext to arrest him and deport him back, right? And so that's he said, she said. We're not here to validate that or not. What the fact of the matter is, Dmitri Vorb had a visitor's visa. Visitor visa is 3 months. You can only do 3 months in the country. It was 6 months in the country on a visitor visa, and he was arrested by ICE. Okay, that's the facts as it is right now. Now we'll see as time goes on. We'll see if there's other facts, other information relevant to this that we can share. But as of right now, those are the facts. Okay, we'll come back and revisit that story once we have more information. But certainly, if it really is Jovenel, flexing his muscle. I think this would be the first time I've ever heard of a big political, economic/political dissident from Haiti being shipped back to Haiti, right? Though it probably is not. That's not fair. ICE did back in this country, right? Baby Doc was able to come back in the country. The guy Tito, what's his name? Tito, the guy who was a mass murderer and executor under ICE. I'm sure you guys will drop his name for me. He was recently deported back. He's also back in the country. And so there's been cases. I stand correct. There's been many instances where big name people who necessarily didn't agree with Constant, JP boss and Constant Messi, who were contrary to either legality in Haiti or the current political flavor, were able to come back and actually live full, productive, life under the radar. Another person too was the former prime minister, first female president of Haiti as well. She was someone also who a lot of back and forth, and ICE had accused her of plotting the coup, and she was exiled and came back. And also she's still in the country now living. So again, there's plenty of examples, actually, people who came back. And if Dimitri Vorb comes back, he has money, he'll be fine. Believe me, he'll be fine. Okay. Right. So that's where we're at. When the Superior Court of Accounts rejected a 55 megawatt natural gas plant contract. That's what I mentioned earlier. I was going to come back to that, but it's more appropriate to talk about it here in energy. They rejected that megawatt natural gas contract because of irregularities from what they're seeing. They're not in compliance with a lot of the things that that are necessary to ensure that fraud, PetroCaribe level fraud, doesn't happen. And they need to get in compliance, right? And until then, the 55 megawatt natural gas plant isn't going to happen, right? Until then, that project is going to sit and not happen, right? And given that the Court of Superior Courts of Accounts and Administrative Litigation, they're fresh off of, the PetroCaribe research. They have a lot of new ways to look at contracts and ensure that things are not being done appropriately, right? So I am all for the CSCCA. That's the short of how you say that entity, to very much crack down on these sort of contracts, make sure they're being done in a way that's not going to lead to another round of fraud, right? That Haiti cannot afford. But oddly enough, there's a commission of public works that is supposed to review these things even before they get to the CSCCA, and they approved this plan. And so I'd love to know the criteria of this first group to see how they passed through here, but didn't get through the CSCCA, right? So that's that news. And we're going to jump into agriculture. Last bit of news when it comes to Haiti Biz News Show today. And when it comes to agriculture, the bit of news relates to the Ministry of Environment, along with the Ministry of Agriculture, have installed 8 water pumps in the south of Haiti. And those water pumps are solar paneled and are supposed to help, areas that are very dependent on sustainability and water access to better get water out of the ground, right? These are sort of projects that are necessary and needed for agriculture, for the livelihood of many. These are sort of projects I wish I could report upon every single week, because these are the activities a proper functioning state should be involved in. Though I do question the state just doing it without, the best way to do it is really to work with specific farmers to help subsidize their own work, right, after clear ownership is provided. But in any case, the reality of Haiti is very communal. Land rights are very shady, as we just talked about at the top of the hour. And so helping with the productivity of the way things are right now, I'll take it. Right? Because we've seen year over year with drought conditions, we've seen less yields of crops, and there needs to be facilitation to help those actors be able to produce. Though, as an economist, the best way to improve the yield of agriculture is honestly help facilitate land rights and disputes, because people who own land are most likely to invest in that land and ensure that the environment's improved and they're able to get economic rents from that land. And so it's a very known principle. The law of commons: if something is owned by the community, it's less likely to be properly managed. People will just take without regards of proper. I mean, let's just drive around the countryside. You'll see areas that have green foliage and are well maintained. Those areas, guess what? I'm gonna give you a little secret. They're owned by private actors who actually ensure, no one comes up on that land, and ensures that those areas are well maintained because it's theirs. It's a clear ownership. Areas that you see the most deforestation, the areas that you see the most degradation of land, it's areas that there aren't clear owners, right? The community owns it, and so the community just piles on, and between the cutting down of trees, between the work of poor practices of agriculture, you have all these different things that combine together to really impact the environment in a negative way, right? But in any case, I'll still take it. And in fact, the Minister of Agriculture and Environment, they plan to provide 150 solar pumps across the country to help with the productivity of agriculture. And so I'll take it, right? However, we can get a little bit of productivity boost, or at least a lessening of the decrease of productivity, I'll take it, right? So, and so that is the news, right? We just ran through it. I had lots to talk about. And I realized I was going through a lot of comments. We've had over 120 plus people on the live today, which is absolutely incredible. And so I certainly welcome a lot of the new heads that we have in here. If you're first time in the chat, do hit that subscribe button. We're here every Sunday, usually 11 a.m. But I have some stuff we're gonna have to take care of, which is why we came on air a little earlier at 8 a.m. or 8:30 to talk about the news. And so I'm gonna dive in the chats. I know that I saw a lot of people commenting on the news story, so I'm gonna dive in the chats. And when I dive back out, the show will end, right? And but let's dive in. It's not just the news here. We're not just here to report the news. We're here to have a conversation, right? So I encourage you guys, if it is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, and then after that, share the live, and then after that, drop a comment. Let's have a conversation, right? So let's scroll up. Let's see what folks are saying. We're going to scroll all the way up. Scroll all the way up. Let's see. Let's scroll all the way up. Oh my goodness. Woo. Lots of comments. Let's go all the way up. Woo, mama. Got a comment. Okay, here we go. Here we are. All right. Let's see. Okay, all right, here we go. So Pitchonville, what's up? Says, what's up, bro? Good to see you in the chat, man. Regular Pitchonville is a regular. Happy to have you in the chat, Pitchonville. I'm assuming you're still here. Yeah, you typed that a while ago. But what's up? Is gun ownership legal in Haiti? No. There's exceptions. You can make exceptions. You can apply to be an exception. Exceptions typically involve either being in a public office or being in a public position where you're well known. Having threats on your life, for example, is another exception. But there's specific things you can apply for. And it's a process, a bit onerous, but you gotta go to the police first and foremost. But it is possible. If you are looking to get that process done, I would suggest you reach out to an attorney to help with that, right? Let's scroll down some more. Let's scroll down some more. Sammy Lammy says, what's up, Sammy? I'm going to say what's up to you already, but what's up, bro? Even Isle of Tortue islands in dispute. Carnival Cruise Line wanted to do a cruise port there, but there's a land lease by Papa Doc, and the area is for 99 years. Yeah, so that's another great example. right? Land is a dicey thing. And if you think you can just come and buy land in Haiti, you do not know Haiti and you do not understand Haiti, and I'm not here to help that level of naivety. Land is something you that's one of the last things you do when you come to Haiti. You come, you get familiar with the lay of the land. Maybe you open up some sort of venture that's not revolving land. You just rent it out or something. But then you execute it, once you are very familiar with how it really works. And how it really works, as I said, it's by networking your pants off, right? And building relationships and knowing that the person you're about to buy this land from, because either you know them for years or the people knew them for years, and they can vouch that there aren't going to be a lot of future disputes. That's it. There's no other way to buy land in Haiti, and then you can go through the legal processes. But you first have to, when you buy land, you're not buying land. You're buying the power of someone. Okay? Colson Nicolas, what's up, bro? Good to have you in the chat. It was a pleasure to have a veteran of Seejeanty. He says, I know someone who lost 5 people, and one of those people had 10 kids. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry to hear. I think he's talking about the Isle of Tortue. The shipwreck that happened. So I'm sorry to hear that, Colson. My prayers are with that family. Live Life L'amour says everyone needs to watch Planet of Humans with Michael Moore. It gives great insight on the solar panel green energy movement. Right, solar panels are massively helpful for sure in Haiti. And I can tell you one reason why I'm able to operate is because I have eight solar panels on 12 batteries here in my office. If it wasn't for that, I don't know what I would do, honestly. So Marie Pierre says someone sent me the video on WhatsApp. It's very sad to see. Yeah, it's I've seen that video as well. It's very sad to see to see that. Right? Seejeanty, Miss America, you can tell. I wonder why. I don't quite understand what this person's saying. I do not miss America. I'm cool. I prefer Haiti a million times than America. So I don't know where you're getting that I miss Haiti. I miss America. I'm cool, man. I'm cool. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know where you're getting that from. Jay George says land has deeded to 3 siblings. Yeah, it's very common. Lawrence Gonzalez in the house. Lawrence, good to see you, brother. Always good to see Lawrence. He's doing some really important stuff in the space of personal finance. He's working very much like me. I think I call Lawrence the Seejeanty of personal finance. He's someone who's really blazing a path, and personally, as someone who was negative like 100,000 just a few years ago, and now the dude's pushing $1 million, right? When you gonna hit $1 million, Lawrence? In 2 years? Another year? When you get that first meal, man, right? And the thing is, he doesn't keep that information himself. He's just a regular guy, by the way. He's just a regular guy with a 9 to 5, man. No entrepreneurship stuff going on. He's just a regular guy, but he's using the system, using what he knows. He's an accountant, by the way, so he does have that mind for numbers. Using what he knows to advance himself, but he's not. Il pas chiche avec information, right? He's not selfish with information. He has the neighborhood finance guy is his IG page. You just put Lawrence Gonzalez in Facebook, and you can go follow him. He's doing some really good stuff. I encourage all my viewers to go watch and support Lawrence. He's doing some important stuff. Because at the end of the day, you can't really do anything in Haiti or even where you're at without your personal finances being in order. Because honestly, even me, like before I moved to Haiti, I didn't just leave with debts and stuff. No, I became debt free. I paid my student loans. Like I had over $55,000 worth of student loans that I paid off, right, before I moved to Haiti and then started doing what I'm doing, right? And so, before you can impact, it's like, I like to use this analogy that someone else I respect gave to me. Like you can't, it's like you're on a plane that's falling, right? And you can't help the person next to you until your seatbelt is on and until you have your mask on, right? What did the flight attendant tells you? Flight attendant, put your mask on, put your seatbelt on, and then help the person next to you, right? And so if you're not in a position where you've helped yourself, how can you help someone else, right? And so that's what Lawrence provides. He provides ways to help yourself, and so you can help others. And so do give Lawrence a follow. Peter J. Tena says, if each administration that gets to power focused on at least one thing and worked on it, we would be in a further place here in Haiti. And I agree with you, Peter J. I totally agree with you. Gabriel Marinville, what's that passé nous là, oui? Enfin, oui, Québec sous la glace, nous là. Première fois, moi, dans le channel là, man. Pèsez le bouton rouge là, subscribe, partagez live là, okay? Yes. Gabriel Marinville says, hey, how can you encourage the Haitians from the diaspora to our country when there is no infrastructure? Okay. I don't understand that question. Like, okay, cool. All right. So don't do anything in Haiti. Leave Haiti the way it is. Stay where you're at. Actually, so let's be clear. I want to be very clear. It's not my job to convince you to come to Haiti. Honestly, Haiti's not for everybody. Honestly, there's people who should not even call themselves Haitian. Like I see the Gabriel Maneva, he has the Haitian flag on his profile. Gabriel, I'm gonna say it, Gabriel, or people who really have that mentality of, well, there's no infrastructure, I'm not gonna come. I'm not coming to Haiti. I'm not gonna do something because there's no environment for it. I just want to ask yourself, how did the country change though? If the same actors are left in place, like right where they are, and there's no new blood, there's no new energy, there's no new people who come in to say, we're gonna not only try to impact the country in the right way, not through charities, not through NGOs. I'm not gonna let I'm like a bunch of missionaries who just have an idea of indoctrinating our future generations into an idea that isn't necessarily compatible with who we are, right? If I don't come in as a Haitian, right, who's gonna do it? And it's these same people who are like, well, the diaspora, there's no infrastructure. But yet these are the same people who spend every waking minute coming to Haiti and talking bad about the Lebanese and the Syrian, right? But they're in the country. They moved in. They found a space, right? They found entrepreneurship opportunities. They've worked together to find a way to live and be and grow economically. Why can't you can? Why can't others can? I'm here in the country. I've been here 3 or 4 years now. And I don't use no infrastructure excuse. I got 8 solar panels, 4 batteries. I have 2 Delcos, right? I got a 4x4 pickup, and I got a motorbike that I bought just in case when things get too shady or bad or whatever. I can get on my motorbike and I can move around, right? Listen, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of folks will sit and complain and bemoan. White people are doing this to me, and these people are doing this to me. And I'm not about that. I'm about action, man. I'm about taking my life and my fate and my country into my own hands. Period. Right? And so if you don't like a situation, act. Come in the country, organize, and try to impact that infrastructure that you don't see, right? Impact infrastructure, but don't bemoan, right? And don't say that do not come into the country because of it. Otherwise, don't call yourself Haitian. Like, don't put a Haitian flag in your profile if you're not willing to do the work. Don't put a Haitian flag in your profile if you're going to accept the way things are. Don't put a Haitian flag in your profile I'm serious. Like, don't put a Haitian flag in your profile if literally when people are going to engage in acting in trying to impact the change, you're sitting back and you're saying, well, you shouldn't go in there because there's no infrastructure. What are you talking about right now, man? What are you talking about? This probably isn't the channel for you because we're here about that action, boss. We're here about making that change. We're not here about complaints and making excuses and saying we can't do it because XYZ standing in front of us. No. We don't do that here, man. We act in the capacity of what we can do ourselves. All right. And since you probably didn't hear that before, since you're new, this is me telling you, this is who The people who watch this channel, the people who stick around, the people who subscribe, we're about that action, Jackson. We're not about excuses. We're not about complaining. We're not about blaming X, Y, and Z. We're about making it happen. All right. Now, we share. We do understand. We talk about where are the problem points. We talk about it, but we talk about it to understand how to overcome it. There's a difference. We don't talk about it to sit and complain and not act. We talk about the problem so we can know how to act. There's a very big psychological difference in engaging the problems that way. Okay. And I do want to thank you, Gabrielle, for giving $4.99. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. But let's change our way of thinking first and foremost, because we are the solution. At the end of the day, the solution of Haiti is going to come from only one place in one direction, and that is us, the people of Haiti. Where may we be outside of Haiti or inside of Haiti, the change can only ever come from Haiti. It will not come from outsiders. It will not come from the international community. It's not going to come from the European Union. It's not going to come from the United States. It's not going to come from the Canadian embassy. It's going to come from one place and one place only, the people of Haiti. And I say that, I don't even like using the term diaspora. I like using the terms the people of Haiti, wherever they are, in country or out. Let's see what else. Let's keep on scrolling down. Christian Viard follows up. That's right. We need to take things in our own hands. We don't need the Haitian government. You got it. You get it. Right? 24 agents. That's right. 24 agents came to Vorb to arrest him. Peter J says, I keep telling the Haitian people are too tolerant, and Martley is done, and they still support him. That's true, right? Martley, it doesn't, it can be argued he didn't. It's hard to prove Martley had a direct line, because even the PetroCaribe funds report never really cites Martley as someone with a direct line of corruption. Even in Jovenel, while he's in office, there's not a direct line. The only line that exists is when he was a private actor working in agri-cons. There was very shady contracts signed and money dispersed to him, right? But don't take my word for it. Go read the reports. They're all there, right? And so that's how it works, but yet it happened under his watch, right? It happened under his watch. And so he has responsibility. Sorry. He has responsibility. Okay? So that is what it is. He may have been released already. I don't think so. Last I saw, it was still ongoing. He was still. I'm talking about Dimitri Vorb. He was still in jail, but maybe he's been released. How can we read the PetroCaribe report? So here's what we'll do. I will drop the link here. Here you go. I'll drop the link there, and if you follow that link actually will take you to an article on ITLib, and all three of the articles will be there. All three of the articles, 1, 2, 3, will be there, and they're in French, by the way. They're in French, but you're more than welcome to dig through it and see what you can see, and it's a very sobering report, let me tell you. The Canal project, I did talk about it at the top of the hour, and they're doing great work. Gabrielle, I do encourage you to follow me on Instagram. I did a post recently on there, and any updates I do will be on Instagram. I did also post something on YouTube as well, YouTube posts on my Facebook. So honestly, if you want to stay up to date with what's going on with the canal, as they hit critical milestones, I will post on my channel. So feel free and follow me on anything else, Instagram, Facebook, even Twitter sometimes. I don't really post on Twitter because I don't see enough people going over there to I don't see a lot of engagement on Twitter. You guys aren't really messing with me on Twitter like that. But I'm more on Facebook, more on Instagram, and even YouTube. I try to drop some updates when I can. So just make sure you're subscribed, man. And you'll get the updates. But then, especially once the canal is finished, I will go make a follow-up episode. Okay. Lizzie, let's see, said something about Florida. Jay George says Vorb will be out soon. He has money. You're probably right. You're probably right. The Moise and Pompey talking in the hallway. Yeah, I agree. That was very disrespectful, honestly. So in Dominican Republic, Jovenel Moise had supposed to be high-level talks with this Department of State, Pompey, where Pompey met in a room, sat down, had a conversation with the president of Haiti, Dominican Republic, the president of Haiti. They had a meeting in a hallway, standing up. I think, to me, that was a slight. To me, that was disrespectful. To me, if I was Haitian president, I would not have accepted that. I think it's a slap in the face. I mean, whatever you may think of Jovenel Moise, whatever you may think of him, you may not like him personally, but he is the Haitian president. He does represent Haitians in the international stage, right? And so when that happens and you see a disrespect like that, it's very, very disrespectful, right? So what else? What else can we say? Right? What else can we say? Let's see. Scrolling down, Emmanuel Constant. Yeah. That was answering my question there. Appreciate that. But I certainly agree with the critiques of Pompey for sure. What's the website I can view all Haitian laws or constitution regulation? Google. I mean, there's no website that there's all that's going to be there. Just Google it. I mean, that's how I found the Haitian Constitution. Google it, you'll find it. We're one of the first or second links, right? And any other law that you may want to read, maybe customs, maybe the penal code, just read it. Just Google it, right? I did translate the new penal code from French to English, and also French to Haitian Creole too. But honestly, I didn't do anything special. Honestly, I Googled the French. The new French Penal Code, which you can just Google, you'll find, and then Google Translate has a way to upload documents. So what you do is you'll find the Penal Code, you'll save it as a PDF, and then you'll re-upload it onto Google Translate as a document to translate it to a language that you can actually read. If French is not your primary language, and then you'll be able to download it, the fully translated document, and you can read it in English, right? So. Or you can go to my page. It's way down there. I posted on my Facebook page a long time ago, so you can find it there already translated. But again, it's Google is the best thing I can tell you about. Morgan Sullivan says, "Yeah, homie was doing live dissing dark. What? Never made it to Florida. I don't know who y'all talking about." Okay, let's see. We have criminals leading our nation. Yeah, That's I can't necessarily dispute that too much, right? Nope. Joe says nope. I saw a picture sitting on a table on one side, the U.S., on the other side, Moise. Okay, Joel Cruz says that. I haven't seen those photos. I'm not sure. Please DM me. My information, Seejeanty at Hypro Solutions, is in the bottom of this description of this video. Please send me that link or photo. I haven't seen it. I'm pretty well connected to the posts, but I love being proved wrong, believe it or not. So feel free and send that to me, so I can be better informed, because I certainly haven't seen that, right? Begging the Haitian government to do anything we has gotten now has gotten to us where we have now. Christian Vod says, totally agree with you. So Morgan Fasilman says, it's funny how you guys always talk about the agriculture, but never mention Haiti lost the fishing industry. Haiti land is damaged by chemicals, so that takes time. Fishing industry hasn't ever been touched yet. Great point, Morgan. I think, that is another industry that is neglected, that also shouldn't receive investment. As it stands right now, a lot of other countries and a lot of other fishing boats come into our waters to fish. That happens in DR. A lot of Bahamians come into our waters to fish. There's very little coast guards or things we do to help defend our national territorial waters. And there's a lot of overfishing that happens in some places as well. Like there'll be like one spot that's just extremely overfished, And so I agree with you. Our fishing industry is a place that certainly could use investment and growth. So I won't necessarily disagree with you there, for sure. All right. Let's see. Scroll up a little bit. Lost my place in line. Okay, there we go. Liam says, do you have any info on the Deepwater port being built soon to Sud? I'm not familiar with that news story. I haven't heard any such thing, right? If you have information on that, please send it to me. But I'm pretty close on the pulse of what's going on in Haiti. I certainly haven't heard that. So feel free and send that to me. Maybe you're confusing it with someplace else. I don't know. But feel free and send that article to me if it's something I've missed and I haven't been properly briefed. JP Paul, peace out. No problem. Thanks for popping in. Lubin Lunzi, I see you, bro. I see you. First time I've seen you. Hit that subscribe button and let's connect. Grillian Jean, appreciates the work I'm doing. Appreciate you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Share that video. Any video you like, do share it. Let's grow it. Luby, it says ATL is following. That's what's up, man. I appreciate the ATL love and appreciation, right? You can read the Petro files on WikiLeaks. Thanks for that, Black Millennial. Grillian says, I'm amazing. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that. Thank you. We'll keep on going. As long as you guys keep watching, keep subscribing, keep sharing, right? Change by building infrastructure. I certainly agree with you. And a lot of you guys who are talking infrastructure, I haven't seen y'all names in the infrastructure project in St. Louis du Sud, right? So the Canal project that I did a video about, right? We responded very well, by the way. We did a very good job, but I'm seeing a lot of new names talking about infrastructure, right? And I don't see nobody contributing, putting their mouth through their, all it takes is $5, $10, right? And so, right? The Haitian government's not doing it. And we have a mayor in St. Louis du Sud who's put over $100,000 of his own money to build a canal. He's asking for a small portion. We did a video on it. GoFundMe's out there. Go check out that video. It's on my profile, YouTube. And if you feel you're tired of complaining, tired of blaming and the Haitian government, and you keep saying the diaspora should do this, the diaspora should do that, the diaspora needs to be engaged. Why don't we show that? Why don't we show what the diaspora can do? Why don't we show that for once? Why don't we stop talking and start doing, right? And this is a safe way, a valid. I know the guy. He's sending me, even as I'm talking to you right now, I have so many photos of what he's doing every day when it relates to the canal. If I were to just update it, when I get updated, my whole IG and Facebook would become the St. Louis Canal page. He's doing real work with the money that you guys are giving, right? So this isn't the American Red Cross. This is a real thing that's happening. And so all you guys who are talking, who hit me up, writing infrastructure projects and blaming the Haitian government, let's see what we can do as a diaspora. Right? Go watch the Seejeanty du Sud episode. There's a GoFundMe link in there. Hit that GoFundMe. Give what you can, and let's stop blaming. Let's start acting. All right, cool. Let's see what we got here. Team Poka Aka, first time seeing the chat. What's up? It says, love what you're doing. My plan is to move back home soon. Love watch what you're doing, and you're giving me hope. That's what's up. Thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe, Team Poka Aka, and thank you. All right, Lionel Pierre, what's up? Action, and more action. Amen to that. We'll applaud that. Team Poka Aka says, you got the same mentality as my husband when it comes to Haiti. Love it. That's right. Your husband is a smart man. Make sure you subscribe too. Make sure you subscribe. He subscribed, watching and sharing those videos. All right, let's get more folks who are thinking like this, together, inspired and acting to make a change. Right? Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Well, you're saying Haitians who are scared to die in Haiti should stay where they're at because you can die anywhere. Some countries are more dangerous than others. No one is going to build up hate for us. Well, so first off, I don't know about this dying stuff. I don't. I mean, first off, I'd rather die here than anywhere else for sure. But I'd rather be here, arguing with a police officer where I know my life's not in danger versus in America where they'll blow your brains out for any reason and get away with it. Y'all can keep that. I much prefer and feel much safer here from that perspective. But I for one, don't think it's life and death decision to come to Haiti. It's you come, you have a good time, you leave. Just don't be stupid. know what I mean? Just don't go around flashing $100 bills and on your cape. You see what I'm saying? Like, just don't be dumb, but that goes for anywhere. Like I can tell you, don't be dumb in the south side of Chicago. Don't be dumb in the south side of New York. Don't be dumb in Liberty City. You see what I'm saying? Like, just don't be dumb and you'll be all right. Don't be a dummy, right? Haiti's not a life that's this, man. Listen, I did a video just last week where I'm walking the entire roof wet. I'm just walking my country. I'm walking with a big old GoPro on my chest. And guess what? Last I checked, I'm still alive. I ain't a ghost, right? So it's ridiculousness. I hope, Haitians got to really change, man. It's your country, man. Take ownership, start acting, and stop waiting and complaining for a government or somebody to come change it for you, man. Reality doesn't work like that, bro. For real, reality doesn't work like that. No one's gonna save you. Like, no one's gonna save you, man. No one's gonna save you personally, and no one's gonna save your country. You have to do it yourself. I don't know how to say it any different. Cloud 14, what is up, bro? What's up, man? Good to have you in YouTube. Good to see you. See you taking action. Enough's enough. Let's make it do what it do. Right? Stop complaining. Let's do it. Yeah, for sure. Jock George says one of the biggest problems is a negative image and discouragement of our own people. Our own people feed each other. You're absolutely right. It has problems, but it's more harm than good if all you do is complain. Complain, but act to change while you're doing it. Wesley Compare says, "Thank you, my brother. We've been saying that for years. Hate is for everyone. It ain't for everyone, but it's for anyone who's really Haitian at heart." Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Morgan saying something about infrastructure and roads. Certainly, I agree with that. Haiti is a small country, and Haiti, it's not that it takes hours to move from place to place. It's not because there is lack of the big distance, just lack of infrastructure. So I certainly agree with you from that perspective. That doesn't mean you not come here and try to do what you can to impact, right? Bijel Bay says he donated to the Canal St. Louis project. That's what's up, because he's from Okai, so he knows about that area. That's what's up. Big ups, Beji Bell. Big ups. You're one of the few people who get it. It's about that action. It's about making a change. So big ups to that, right? Lawrence Gonzalez says, you talked about the website issues a few months ago. Are you bringing it back? Oh, yeah, Haiti Biz News? Nah. Haiti Biz News, it's gonna, I think at some point in the future, when it comes time to do Haiti Biz the way I want to do it, which is generally make it become its own network, right? Probably under a much larger, trust me, Seejeanty, we're not just here to doing it because I'm a guy who likes the camera. Like the long-term plans and ambitions, we're gonna have a studio, we're gonna have people on. Like honestly, low key, I want to be, 5 years from now, I'm not gonna be doing this. I'll tell you that right now. I question whether in 2 years if I'll still be doing this. I'll still be in Haiti doing what I'm doing, but this investment of time and the way I'm doing, it isn't. I'll be honest, it isn't long-term. It isn't long-term doable the way I'm doing it. It needs to be properly structured out into a proper media company, right? We need to get proper funding. We need to get partners. We need to get sponsors. That's one. We need to get contracts where the content we produce is on networks, right? Not just YouTube getting a few pennies of AdSense, but actually on cable channels, on streaming networks. I want different shows. Haiti Biz News will be a show run by not me, someone else who's talking about, what's happening in Haiti from an economic perspective with actual journalists. I'm not a journalist, actual journalists doing investigative journalism on things going on in the economic sector, right? And so that's where we're going, by the way. That's where we're going to be. I promise you, we're going to be there, probably as soon as 2 years. I want to start more aggressively going that avenue just to grow this thing. And that's where we're going to be, to be very clear. But we're not going to be here, some guy talking to a camera. I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I probably do it maybe once a month or just here and there whenever I feel like it. But the goal here really is to grow beyond this. Right? I do have much bigger ambitions. You start where you can, as I always tell people, start where you can. And I'm very happy to be where we're at. And we've gotten a lot of engagement, a lot of people working together and connecting. But long-term, understand the website will be back in a different way. And Haiti Biz News will grown, and Seejeanty media will grow. And so trust me, we're only getting started, God willing. And trust me, Haiti to the world is going to happen in a much more structured, consistent way. Believe me, right? Do you have any information if there will be a plan for a national highway system? There isn't a plan for a national highway system. So quick answer. Let's see. Marie Manier says people make too much of nothing of the president. Meeting with the PetroCaribe, they have to do is go after the people who have the contracts. You're absolutely right. Right? You're absolutely right. I agree with you, Marie. People are stay focused. Oh, Matili is but well, first off, legally, it's hard to go after him because it's not his signature on these contracts. It's these ministers. It's the companies. At the very least, go after the companies. They're legally culpable for not delivering on projects that they receive money for. They should be gone after. Right? Very simple. Right? So I agree with you, Marie. Rose Marie Theat says, "Love your mindset. Great job. Wish we had more people like you." Believe it or not, you really do. I'm looking at my numbers right now. I got 99, 100 people watching me right now. And I want to say the vast majority of people watch me to have that same mindset. So we're here. We just have to make sure we act, we move. And when we see opportunities to work and put in work and support ourselves and support other Haitians doing stuff, we have to move, right, and do it, right? So thank you for that, right? Let's see, any great condo projects in Petroville, Del Mar? Yeah, plenty. There's plenty, right? And there's plenty of, if you go to IG and just type in Haitian real estate, or hashtag Haiti real estate or something, you'll find a lot of realtors, real estate companies that will put you in contact with a lot of really nice properties. So yes, there is. Yes, there is. Bounce Bougie, what is up? Bounce Bougie, been quiet, man. What's up, man? You say what's up? Bounce Bougie, good to have you in the chat today. What's up, bro? Tunef Selma, Creole Kid, here in the West Palm, Florida. Really appreciate the work you're doing, man. Learning a lot. Different Life Foundation. Appreciate the work you're doing. That's cool, man. Definitely happy to have you in the chat. Definitely subscribe to Tunef Selma. Hit that big red button. Subscribe. We're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. chatting, and do lots of other content. Watch other videos. Share them across your network. Let's get some more people informed. Let's get some more people engaged. Right? And that's on you. That's you. You do it by subscribing and by sharing the content. Right? But thanks. Happy to have you. Hope to see you again, Tunef. Franz Camille, good morning. What's up, man? What's up? What's up? Definitely. I'll be very happy to have you in the country, back in the country, and doing the damn thing. Right? One last comment. Should start a sanitation company and keep the streets clean. Honestly, there's so many sanitation companies. Haiti has a nice sanitation companies. I always share that, right? What Haiti lacks is the infrastructure for it to be sustainable. And I see what you said, that the initiative would finance a cleaning project, perhaps, but like the way that cleaning happens in other countries is that the municipal areas, they fund it, right? And they fund it by property tax. Property tax funds the cleanup of municipalities. And in Haiti, the fundamental problem in Haiti is that the municipalities, very few people pay property tax. Or you can sit in here and say, well, yeah, there's a lot of poor people. Well, there's a lot of non-poor people too. And just driving around the country, you see plenty of nice homes behind big walls. And 9 out of 10 of these places aren't paying property tax, right? And even when they do, the property tax doesn't go directly to the municipalities. They go to the national government, and the national government then turns around and gives a portion of that back to the municipalities, right? And so what I'm saying is there needs to be a structure where the municipalities are able to keep 100% of their property tax, just like in America and a lot of developed countries. The local municipalities keep the taxes they collect, so they can then work on local infrastructure projects in their districts, in their areas, in their towns, in their communes, right? And so what I'm saying is, there needs to be a revamp of law in the country to better align municipalities and trash pickup, a president needs to mobilize national resources to, because there are, for example, there's the SMCSR, I believe. I'm sure I'm messing it up. That functions. DNEPA. There you go. DNEPA is another national departmental administration that has a direct line to the president. And so we're investing all this amount of money in electricity and trying to revamp electricity. But honestly, the better way to really get immediate impact and immediate image is to structurally go after and fix what's causing the trash in the country. And it's related to inefficiencies around how we collect taxes. And so that needs to be changed to better fortify trash pickup, and then specifically earmark, because the moment you change taxes, corrupt mayors who just use it to line their pockets, then you put ways to earmark a significant amount of that towards trash collection, and then put auditors in place to make sure policing happens, right? Very common sense things. And honestly, again, Haiti doesn't lack trash pickup companies. There's over 22 plus in the country. It's just that the few people who are able to pay for trash pickup to their homes pay for trash pickup in their homes, right? But the vast majority are only able to put it in the streets, right? And that's a problem, right? And so I don't, that's not a long-term solution. I'm about long-term solutions, and the long-term solution, that is something, unfortunately, I hate to put it in the court of the state, but the trash collection really is on the court, is in the state, is in the hands of the state. There's not much we can do as diaspora to impact that. Minus when you're in the country yourself or you're living here, you ensure that you yourself contract to trash collection companies. You don't allow yourself and your trash to be thrown out in the middle of the street. You yourself behave in the right way, and you pay for a trash collector to come pick up your trash. And when you start running a business here, same thing. Take the personal responsibility and pay for a trash collector, a private trash collecting company. And there's so many here, believe it or not, like it blows people's minds when I tell them this, that there's so many trash collection companies here. We don't have a problem with trash collection. We have a structural issue as relates to how to support trash collection initiatives across the municipality over time. That's the problem we have in Haiti. Okay? But thanks for that idea, Peter J. All right. Let's see. Morgan says we need to organize and put our money in different places and finance. Certainly, the organization and working together is a very important part of moving Haiti forward. I totally agree with you. Nabi Grateful says, is there a Haiti real estate in a search tag? Yeah, I think just try different things. Haiti real estate, hashtag Haiti real estate, one word, in Instagram. I think you should find some leads there. But yeah, best I can tell you. Ido, build Haiti from the bottom up. Totally agree with you. Louis, Francois Art, we can eat, drink, and sleep in corruption. It is embedded in our minds now. It's hard to get rid of. Haiti needs a cultural revolution. I agree with you. I think certainly one thing that I see, a lot of people like to critique the politics, but honestly, I always explain that the politics of Haiti, it's like a hair on someone's head, right? It doesn't exist by itself. It exists because, the people here in the country, allow these people to come into office, right? And allow them to stay in office when they realize they're not producing anything, right? And the day that, Haitians really get educated, really get motivated, is when Haiti will genuinely change, right? It's a bottom-up approach. That's one reason why I do encourage the Haitian diaspora to participate in their country, because being here in the country, participating, educating others, right? Don't let the missionaries come and spread their gospel, their version of religion to our people. You'll be a missionary of proper governance. Be a missionary of education, of how things should work by being here and spreading that. And hopefully Haiti can move in a proper direction, right? So I certainly agree with you there, right? And I think that is the last comment I'll read, right? I do want to thank everyone who watched the whole episode. I want to appreciate all the commenters. You guys are fantastic. We're on air for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Yo, that's freaking awesome. Remember, guys, Seejeanty, we have so many videos that we came out back in the country. We got a lot of cool videos that have been out. We dropped from, like, we had an episode on deportees. We had an episode on Haiti COVID. We went to Mirabale Hospital, and we got a tour of their facilities, how they've been treating COVID. We had a video out with St. Louis to Sud. So many people have reacted and given money to help with this very important infrastructure project, which right now, this hurricane, we can see the very clear need for, right? And of course, we have so many other episodes coming. I just did a shoot yesterday. Yo, I cannot wait to drop this video. It's coming out this week. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't seen it yet. It's Facebook and YouTube. YouTube in particular, make sure you subscribe to that. And of course, for those who love what we're doing here, hit that share button, share the live, right? If you participated, you're a co-host, right? Those who had their comments right on the air, you're a co-host. You own this as much as I do. So share the live, share your participation. Let's inform some folks, right? And of course, the Square Cash is down there, by the way. If you really want to land a hand in a different way, it's added to the war chest. So we can go out, Port-au-Prince. Some of my biggest critiques is that, man, Seejeanty, you do too much stuff in Petrolville. You do too much stuff in Port-au-Prince. Well, I do so much stuff in those cities because, I have a media team, and it's expensive to have a whole team, hotels, food, stuff like that when you're out. So listen, if you really want to see more content outside of Port-au-Prince, hit that Square Cash, right? So FYI, right? And of course, the headlines. I just want to run through the headlines that we talked about today. We talked about the tropical storm Laura. We talked about COVID, both in Haiti and Dominican Republic. We talked about international affairs. We talked about the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Turkey signing some MOUs. We talked about a shipwreck, Isle of Tortue, 17 dead, unfortunately, 9 survivors. We talked about Prime Minister Youth hinted the states retake over of imports. We talked about the PetroCaribe report coming out. We even linked out the link in our chat. We talked about Dimitri Vorb and his wife being arrested for overstaying their visa officially. We'll find out the true story as the coming days comes out. We talked about the CSCCA rejecting the 55 megawatt natural gas plant contract because it's not in compliance with anti-corruptive things. And so they have to go back and provide paperwork and proof of process that will be followed to ensure that every penny that goes into this project doesn't happen to like PetroCaribe, right? And finally, we talked about agricultural projects. 8 water pumps were installed in the South by the Minister of Environment and Minister of Agriculture. So that's a quick wrap up of the news for those who wanted it all put together, put in one place. Listen, guys, we'll be back again next Saturday, possibly 11 a.m. We'll see, but usually 11 a.m. for sure. Otherwise, if you don't hear nothing, just know 11 a.m. is we're going to be back on air. Listen, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. You guys are appreciated. You guys are the best part of Seejeanty. You guys are why I do what I do, especially the ones who recently have shown. You guys have acted over $3,000 provided to the St. Louis Canal. You guys encourage me. It's not just me doing it. Give yourselves pats on the back for being about that action. And you guys are a very well investment of my time because I'm meeting real people who are generally passionate about Haiti. And so thank you. If I don't say this enough, thank you. All right, guys, that's it. And when we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again. Peace.